up, RotoGrinders? 5 o'clock on the dot on a Friday. It's the Millionaire Show, the Millionaire Winner Show. Collectively, if you work all the way up to the Crunch Time crew, 5 individual $1 million winners, 2-time millionaire Head Chopper, at Head Chopper on the old Twitter, 1-time millionaire winner, Andre at Drizzy26 _ DFS. I'm pretty sure, I believe. Isn't Dave on later? Did I misquote myself? Yeah. Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner as well. STL Cards, Kevin Roth, of course, chief meteorologist, all over the weather. We'll be jumping on in about an hour and 25 minutes. I saw. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat for the people if you're unaware, but I did see the weather slightly improved throughout the day in Boston. Little less apprehension. It's now yellow-orange. It was orange earlier today as far as the Tampa-Boston game. Andre, I heard you earlier today on the FanDuel Friday show with TJ. Glad to hear your voices back. Glad to see you back. How are things in your world? Are we all good or what?
Yep, feeling a lot better. Being sick sucks. I hate it, but just glad to be back and glad to talk again. I found out how much I really love talking, as I was saying to you pre-show.
Chop, the chat wants to know. Friend of the show, Jared Barton, wants to know what are you slipping on there, Chop? Slurping, I guess. Slurping.
The good stuff, then. The good stuff. Got a little.
What is the good stuff?
Jeez,
we can't see that. It's messing with your green screen.
Little Texas,
things.
Just a little Texas tea, Dean. Just a little Texas tea. No big deal. Dean, you don't gloss over the headlines here, brother. We got lots of stuff to cover here. Number one, what happened to the stash? I take a few days off of shows and then bang, you're bald on your face again. What happened?
I can ask you the same question, I think, right? Like, what happened to your stash?
But I only had mine for a couple of days. You was going on a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I made the joke yesterday about I'm flying out to Denver. I'm back in Florida now, but flying out to Denver, I was randomly selected to get screened, and it's like this guy looks suspicious, and I was flying back, and I'm like, I'm gonna get randomly selected again. I could just something's going on with this. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but something's up with this guy. So yeah, it ran its course. The bit, we ran to the ground. Maybe we'll bring it back for the old No Shame November or something like that, but. It was getting weird. It's just I'm not a part of mustache culture. It's just not me. It's fine if that's for you, but it's just not. And thanks for watching the show yesterday. Thanks for supporting the show. This is not brand new. This is over 24 hours old, Chopper. So thanks for. Are you a friend of the show when you're not on the show? I don't know, but
yeah. So you're telling me you shaved because you think you got patted down because you had a mustache.
I mean, I feel like that. It's a red flag.
So a mustache is a red flag, is what that's
on this face at least. Some people they can make it work.
Okay, now let's talk about part 2 of that here. This whole situation. How did it go down? I've already got Grant's side of the story in private. I need to know what your side of the story. How you get booted out of his house?
Oh no, it was cordial. It wasn't. There was no fight or anything. He didn't give me an ultimatum, but. When you just know, sometimes you just know. It's like, yeah, it's ran its course. And I was thinking about getting an Airbnb out there for a while, but I was like, I think I'll be back, But there's no animosity. I was on Grant's show earlier today. We were talking scores and odds, but it was there was no sort of conversation. He had to sit me down or anything, but you just sort of know. Yeah, I was like, it's. I feel like I'm overstaying my welcome. But to be fair, I was out there a good chunk of the time by myself. I was house / dog sitting. So
fair enough. That's not what I heard, but that's fine. That's good.
What was Grant's side of the story?
You got the boot, man. You got the axe.
Well, my last day there, I actually he was playing fart noises in the background during the show. I don't know if you caught that, but he was giving me some signs that maybe this is it. I appreciate you having you, but we kind of hit the quota. We're good to go going forward. Nice seeing you, that kind of thing. But we're fine. We texted today. We talked today. Far as I know, unless Grant is saying something behind my back. I don't think he will. He's not the type. But there you go. Chop. The exciting thing is, and we were talking about this pre-show. You never like to talk pre-show at all. You like to save as many words as possible for the show. You get your quota. And that's that. You start at 5 o'clock on the dot. That's in your contract. It's in your writer. But college football, this is your thing, man. This is your wheelhouse. I mean, a lot of things are your thing, I suppose, but like you're notoriously known for being excellent at college football. It starts tomorrow, week 0. Are we excited?
Week 0 is fun. It's better than nothing. It's not like the real kickoff, week 1, but it's something. It's something better. I'll be sitting down tomorrow afternoon, putting in lineups and watching some college football. That's better than what I was going to do, which was, sit around and watch some random afternoon baseball game. You know what I mean? So I'll take anything I can get right now. The summer has run its course, much like you and Grant's relationship. This summer has run its course. Let's get to some football now.
Why are you stirring the drink, man? However rocky me and Grant are, and we're not rocky at all. It did not hit the peak rockiness yourself and Kirk D's had. You guys had a little spat, a little back and forth.
Oh, Dean. I'm glad you mentioned it. I was going to hit on that later, but I might as well hit on it now because you segued us into it. We got to give a special shout out, Dean. Special congratulations.
No spoilers, Chop. No spoilers.
A special welcome into this world for one Dylan Peter Kirkwood. Chris Kirkwood's baby boy he birthed just a few days ago. They got him back home today. So everybody's safe and healthy. So shout out to the Kirkwood family.
Yeah. Congratulations to Kirkwood. Hopefully.
Yeah. That's no, Dean. I don't need a yeah. Come on now, brother. It's a huge momentum right there.
No. I echo what you're saying. I think that's awesome. And I was actually talking to Kirkwood earlier today, and Vegas had the line at -1,000 that you would spoil this, and then they actually took it off the board. So yeah, we knew that you would definitely mention it. I kind of like it was an alley-oop. I kind of set it up for you, but yeah. He sent me a picture of the child. I'm not sure if you saw it, but the kid's flipped me off. I don't know if you saw the picture or not.
I've seen that picture, and I asked him. I made him aware. I was like, "Can I give a shout out here on the show to you?" So it's not like this is out of nowhere, Dean.
It's Kirkwood's kid when the kid's coming out flipping somebody off, right? Like that seems like something.
Yeah, it seems like he's about to take after his dad.
So congratulations. I thought I'd give like a heartfelt yeah, but I was just echoing your Andre. Do you want to personally you want to give more passionate sentiments to Kirk D's and give him a shout out?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask if you had the baby this week, but congrats, Kurt. Hope you're doing well. You and your not wife, but I guess wife to be. And congrats. Hopefully, get to have one of mine little ones sooner or later.
There you go. Chop, are the kids back to school? You get the remote now or what?
This was their first week back at school. Today is the first Friday of the school. So yeah, they're back, man. They're out of here.
They in high school now?
I've got I had them all. They're all really close together. So the youngest one's in 8th grade, and then I got a boy in 9th grade and a boy in 10th grade. So 2 of them in high school. And and they're all 3 going to be in high school, one after another next year. So even better, less trips to pick up and drop off in the morning.
Kirkwood in chat, by the way, he says he can't believe you spoiled it. Yeah, you got to give a spoiler alert there, Chopper. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but that his child's name is DK, which is great. There you go.
Some fantastic initials there.
I don't know what the middle. Did you say the middle initial? I think you said it.
Peter.
Say it again.
Peter.
Okay. So
get your mind out of the gutter, Dean.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Congratulations to Kirkwood. There you go. And his lady friend. All right. Hey, Chop, we got a big one.
Jesus, lady friend. Now you make him sound like she's a lady of the night.
No, Dean. I never know what the thing is. Even Andre said he's like his wife or wife to be. I don't know the official term.
Oh, I just said wife to be. I didn't say lady friend. I wasn't going that far.
I'm dragging you down in the gutter with me. Well, I don't know because I again he's explained this before, and I don't know if they've been together for a long time, and I'm not sure if they're officially married or not. So I don't know if they're engaged. I don't follow Kirkwood on Facebook. I'm on a Facebook guy. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. But
sometimes marriage is not for everybody.
Baby mama, that Kirkwood's saying I should use. Okay, baby mama. I thought lady friend's not insulting. It's just an old timey term, I think. I don't know. I don't mean that as an insult. It's not.
No, it just insinuates that he has multiple. That's all.
insinuation. It wasn't intentional, at least.
Chris Sally pimping all over the world.
So, seamless segue. By the way, of course, you can get. Well, I wanted to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's under the umbrella. The college football premium is under all. You get all the stuff. We're giving it away actually today for free. When are we giving it away? We're giving it away in the Discord channel. We gave 1 week free away of RotoGrinders Premium today, Chop, because it's Friday. We're celebrating Kirkwood and his baby mama's child. We're giving away 3 weeks, 3 individual weeks free of RG Premium. How do I go about getting that? You jump over to the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord, and you go to the live stream chat channel. There are some premium channels. This is a non-premium channel. Just head on over there. And when producer Devin starts the deal, there's going to be like a thing. You just hit an enter button. You're going to see a bot drop. You just click an enter button. He'll probably start it in like 15, 20 minutes or something like that. He'll let us know. He's probably jumping in chat in a second. But yeah, we want to let the people know. Give yourself a chance to win 1 week free of RG Premium. And yes, Aaron in chats, let's roll. We're talking MLB. Yeah, we got a big boy slate. We got 2 hours. We got 2 hours to talk about it. We're going to hand it over to the Crunch Time crew. Let's see. Small talk, still 12 minutes in. We're going now. Here we go. I promise you. We got it. We're going to knock it out. Plenty of time. You want to hear us talk about every single pitcher? We could do that theoretically, but don't necessarily need to. Give me the screenshot, Chop, as far as the slate. Garrett Cole, I guess the big arm up top. Strider, kind of the tournament guy up top. Not necessarily the best matchup, but the best Ks as far as this slate by actually a pretty good margin. Going to face a fair bit of righties there in St. Louis. 37.3% is the case. To be precise, Garrett Cole at 31.7. Of course, he's scuffled a bit of late. Too many homers. Now he's outside of New York. He's in Oakland. Oakland's a great cavernous ballpark. It subdues homers, subdues strikeouts a little bit too. And that Oakland lineup obviously is pretty putrid as well. And hitting-wise, I guess Philadelphia is the clear and obvious, top team, but that doesn't mean they're going to be the top team. They weren't yesterday. But the Yankees, 13 runs yesterday, no homers, which you just rarely see that. But that's kind of what Oakland does sometimes, that ballpark. Bryce Harper, of course, back, and Real Muto back in that lineup. Baum back in that lineup for Philadelphia. What do we have, Chop, as far as the screenshot, the overview? Are you running your 150? Are you having a good time on a Friday night?
You know what, Dean? If I'm being honest here,
yeah,
I haven't played much at all this week.
Okay.
Just kind of lost its luster. Kind of like, you and Grant's relationship just kind of like lost its luster there a little bit, the end of the baseball season. So I haven't played much, but in honor of the show, I will run 100 lineups out there tonight just because. But I haven't played much, Dean. It's like that. But looking at the overview here of the pitching, I know he's chalky, but man, it's going to be hard for me not to play a whole lot of Garrett Cole, well over the field. I'm not going to lock him in on FanDuel because I only have one pitcher, so then I'd be committing to him and nobody else. On DraftKings, if I was playing there, I probably would lock him in as my SP1 and then figure it out from there. But everything about the other guys behind him, there's some good pitchers. There's not really the great ones. There's no DeGroms or Scherzers or Verlanders, anybody else like that on the slate. There's good ones. Bassett's good. Bieber's good. Strider's good. They're not great. Cole can legitimately be great at times. He catches a bad rap. I laugh at him when he has poor games because, of who he is. But the truth is the poor games are really, you're kind of lucky when you get to him. He's got that kind of stuff. I'm willing to take a chance. This is one of the better matchups you could have in baseball. And it's in Oakland, so just in case you do get some fly balls, a lot harder to hit them out tonight than it would be in New York. I'm all about Garrett Cole tonight, man. I think he's just not just clearly the number one guy, but clear enough that I'll have him a lot.
Are you a Fairweather fan, Chop? When he was an Astro, were you laughing at him when he was having bad games?
No, he didn't have very many bad games with the Astros. I can tell you that.
He had the sticky stuff then, right?
Yeah, he had some sticky stuff, but kind of like sometimes you're blinded by the love. You really like a guy, and then you're looking at him, and then he switches teams, and you realize, wow, that guy was just kind of a douchebag, man, right? He was.
Yeah,
he was.
You're gonna feel that way when Gurriel leaves, I think.
What are you talking about? Gurriel will never leave. I have news for you. He'll retire.
He's just going to retire. Nobody's going to
He'll retire, and then he'll be a coach here in Houston for the rest of his days. He's never leaving, Dean. But yeah, no, I'm not a fair weather fan. I like them all. I still support George Springer big time. Carlos Correa, that's my guy. Carlos Correa, love Correa.
Does he still do the watch thing, or is he? I feel like I haven't seen him.
Maybe if he makes the postseason, I'm sure we'll see it.
I like the watch thing. I think it's a good bit.
And don't take this one, Dean. Don't steal this one from me. But the next dog I get, I'm going to name him Springer. I think that's a good dog name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't steal that one from me, though. Don't be like that Costanza episode where they steal 7.
You're not gonna name it Peter?
Dean, come on, man. It's just Kirk's day, and you're sitting here mocking the names.
Or Dylan. You're not gonna name it Dylan either, right? You're not gonna take
dog. You're insinuating those are dog names, Dean. Come on now.
I love when a dog has like a human name. It always amuses me. I don't know why. It's do you have a dog or you have a cat? What do you have lurking around the house? What are their names?
I have a dog but we took him on from somebody else who didn't want him, so he was already
inherited the name.
Yeah, we inherited the name. His name is Diego.
What do you got, Andre? I knew you got a dog in the background, right?
Yeah, I got a Pomsky. Her name is Kenzie.
Okay, is that short for like Mackenzie or just Kenzie or what?
Nah, just Kenzie. She was born with Kenzie, and when we got her name was Kenzie, so we just stuck with Kenzie.
Derek and Chad's got a puppy named Clyde. Like, I love that. I love a dog named Clyde. That's amazing. And Kirkwood's with me. He says always have human names when it comes to dogs. By the way, of course, Garrett Cole going to be super popular, especially for a 28 pitcher slate, 14 games, 41% as of right now on DK as far as ownership. Got our roster 2 over there, and on FanDuel we're looking at. Let me jump over to FanDuel. I believe it was close to 24% on Garrett Cole. And then it's pretty spread out. We got Peralta at 14%, good matchup against Chicago. Mccullers at 9%. Man, I don't really trust. Well, I want to ask Chop about Mccullers because I don't trust that he can go that far or that he can be efficient. Strider, I think, is the most interesting one for tournaments because he's got the biggest K rate in the slate. I believe Arenado is out of the lineup for St. Louis as well, so that kind of weakens it. It's a positive ballpark shift for him also. I want to get your thoughts here, Andre, because you're the Yankee guy. Garrett Cole, his projections are going to tell you he's the clear and obvious best pitcher. Of course, he'll give up some homers, but the strikeouts are there. The control has been there. And the matchup's good. What's your stance as far as Cole?
Well, yeah, he's going to be the number 1 pitcher on the slate, and by far, there's no way to get away from him. I'm going to play him tonight, definitely, but I do like other pitchers today. I do really like Spencer Strider a lot. That's like my second pitcher. I'm going to be probably probably third. I should say it's going to be close, but second and third pitcher most exposed to today, just because of the match against St. Louis. He's had this matchup before, had 12 strikeouts, but I know we don't want to go for previous data. It's not wrong to go for previous data, but just the last matchup. But like you said, there's a whole bunch of lefties in there. He still strikes them out at like 31%. I think lefties had, and the strikes out righties at a clip of
43%.
43%. So it's still high on both sides of the plate. So he's got to worry about walking some righties a little bit. But there's only Paul Goldschmidt, Pujols, O'Neill, and Molina in there. That's going to be righties. So I have full confidence in him in this lineup. So I'm really, really high on him. I don't also mind taking some shots on Freddie Peralta today. Coming back around injury, going against the Cubs today. It's a little bit. I know the Cubs have been a little bit good, but I still think Peralta could, be decent, especially at that price of 8.8K. That's really cheap, and he gets a pitcher's umpire too, so that kind of will help a little bit. So I'm a little bit on Peralta too as my number 3.
I think both of the pitchers in that game are kind of sort of somewhat interesting. Steele on the other side, there's a good strikeout matchup versus Milwaukee. Let's see, just flipping it on the old plate IQ. There's some power guys, Adames, McCutchen, and Renfroe have all done well from a power perspective, but there's a ton of strikeouts. Man, you got Hira in there, who's a 45% strikeout guy, 27.7% collectively, which is a massive number. The smallest numbers of strikeouts, this season against lefties for this Milwaukee team in this lineup. I'm just doing a quick scan. Is it 23.3%? That's crazy. 23.1% McCutchen. Wow. I know Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, he had him ranked pretty highly if you looked at our rankings on DK, and he's moving up for me with this lineup. I love getting Taylor at the back end, ton of Ks there too. Woof, Chop. I'm excited about Steele, and talking about Steele and Peralta. Talking about both pitchers in this Chicago-Milwaukee game.
Yeah, Peralta, I used to like Peralta a lot, but he hadn't really, he needs I guess I need to see a little bit more out of him before I commit too much to Peralta. I think he's good, but the lackluster performances lately haven't done much for me. So, but on the other side there, yeah, I've never been a big Milwaukee offense guy. I've always thought we're a little bit weak in that department. Justin Steele has been fantastic lately. In general, he's been really good, surprising. We don't have if the wind's not blowing out of Wrigley, it's not even at Chicago. Is that Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little bit tougher, but yeah, I think he's still fine, man. I'm not a big fan of this Milwaukee offense. Definitely not a fan of that Chicago offense. I like them. I think they're both fine. They remain in my SB2 pool.
Yeah, if there's one little hiccup for Steele is that he can walk too many guys, 9.4%, and this Milwaukee team can be patient. I'll give him that. There's some patience there. Renfroe, Tellez, Hira will walk. 9.1% collectively. It's a pretty patient lineup, but the strikeouts are really awesome. And the WOBA is dreadful. 295 collectively is really bad. The only one that actually is a positive WOBA, if you're looking at plate IQ, is Renfroe against lefties. And the power guys are Adames and McCutchen, but they're kind of sort of somewhat all or nothing. And Yelich has been horrendous against lefties. I don't know why he's leading off against lefties. He's striking out too many times, 24.5%. The ISO hitting all ground balls. Man, 16% fly balls. His ground balls are close to 70%. That's insane. And his ISO is basically non-existent. I think it's 55 or 65. That's not good. There you go. If you want the mush play today, it's Christian Yelich, because I don't know why he's leading off. I understand that that's just what they do, and they don't really do the analytic stuff, but he probably shouldn't be. Strider, I think, is somebody, Chop, that we just got to get over the field on. If this ownership is correct, especially on FanDuel, 18% on DK, okay, I'll probably be over that too. And we'll talk about Bassett in a second, who's a safer version. I think his upside's not as high, but his downside's also probably, if you're going to give a pitcher a floor, I think Bassett's got a really, really solid floor. He's an incredible innings eater. 104 pitches, I believe, on average last 4 weeks, 98 on the season, top 7, top 8, as far as leash in the entire league. The Rockies going on the road to New York is basically the biggest downgrade in all baseball. They're horrific. They're worse against righties, I believe. Who do you want to talk about first, Chop? Because I think Bassett's the safe one, and Strider is the fun tournament play.
They're both really good. The reason why, Strider's going to get that lower ownership number on FanDuel is because of that price tag, which is fine. It's a heavy price tag, but, I like him. He's solid. But, yeah, Bassett's been really good lately. So it's a really good matchup, like you said. Colorado going on the road, another team that's pretty bad. Bassett can put up big numbers. He's good. Strider has that binary outcome. It's a hit or it's a miss. He's either going to be on his game and get you 6 innings, and if he can get to 6 innings, that means he's cruising along and he will strike out a ton of guys. Or he'll hit some bumps in the road and lose a little control and walk a couple guys and run up his pitch count. Then he's out of there after 2 or 3 innings or so he's one of that makes him a great GPP play, especially on FanDuel at the ownership, although the price tag is the one that's driving down that ownership, but that's fine in GPP. So I like them both, Dean.
You got a preference amongst those two, Andre?
Between Strider and who? Bassett?
Yeah.
I like Bassett a lot too. I'd probably still say Strider just because he's the 400 cheaper on FanDuel. and that's what I'm playing on mainly today. So that'll be the determining factor. And plus, the strikeout upside is just probably higher, just because of his strikeouts on average per year versus Bassett. So I'll take that chance and go with Strider. But Bassett is not a bad option. I like him a lot today as well.
Extreme pitchers umpire for Logan Gilbert and Shane Bieber is what I'm seeing. Extreme hitters umpire for Alex Wood and Joe Ryan. Extreme pitchers umpire for JP Sears. Pitchers umpire for Yarbrough. Waka. I don't think I'm rostering those guys anyway. Cole, of course, has the extreme pitchers umpire that y'all talked about. Just want to get the umpire data out to the people, and just be aware Friday night sometimes it changes. Start a new series, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Don Yeezy in chat's talking about Falter versus Pittsburgh as an SP2 on DK. Andre, I'm told you can throw basically any lefty you want against Pittsburgh. Did O'Neal Cruz crack this lineup? You kind of want him to have cracked it. He probably didn't. Let's check. No. Okay. Yeah, he strikes out insane amount versus lefties. Falter's not great. K rate's about 20-21%. Pretty good as far as control. Too many fly balls, but this Pittsburgh lineup's unimpressive. A couple of contact guys in there, Hayes and Newman. What do you have as far as Falter? Is he somebody on your radar? I know you said you're playing mostly on FanDuel. Probably not playing on FanDuel, but you think he's interesting at all on DK?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry, because I got cut off for a second. But
No
but yeah, I like Falter. I think he's definitely in use on both sides just because of the price point. And like the past couple of matchups, so he got Pittsburgh today. He had Pittsburgh before, had 40 FanDuel points against him, and had 8 strikeouts. So I think it is definitely an option that you have to look at today for sure. And especially more so just to fit in your bats. Like if he can give you that upside and get like, you're not asking him to give you like a perfect game and have like 58 fantasy points or 70, but if he can give you like 40 again in this matchup against Pittsburgh, and you're able to get like more expensive bats in your lineups, I love that today. I think he's not going to be owned based on that as well too. So I would definitely look to try to get over the field with that.
You got a thought there, Chop, as far as Falter?
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. I think he's really good tonight in this matchup. I think in general, he's pretty good anyway. Like, he's a young guy. He's got a pretty good four-seamer and a pretty good sinker. And if he sticks to that and he's throwing those well tonight, he'll mow through this lineup. This matchup is a great matchup for left-handers, and he's a guy I've highlighted as a fantastic salary saver.
Chop, you playing much on DK or you're mostly concentrating on FanDuel?
I'm not playing on DraftKings tonight.
Cavalli, I think, is pretty interesting on DK as a salary saver. He's 7-3 on FanDuel. I'm probably not getting there in FanDuel, but he is one of the bigger prospects in baseball as far as pitchers. Depending on where you look, I'm seeing Fangraphs has him second in the organization for Washington, 20th overall. MLB just updated their prospects, and they got him 58 overall in the top 100. 24-year-old. Looks like he's pretty stretched out as well, too. The bat's projecting him for 90-ish pitches. Making his MLB debut tonight in the minors, 26% K is pretty solid. Few too many walks at 9.7%, but he's facing a bad Cincinnati lineup, which you can kind of sort of somewhat argue is just like a quad A team essentially. I think he makes for a really interesting SP2 if you want to open up some salary. You're spending up on the big boy bats. You got a thought here, Chop, as far as Cavalli? I just read about him today. MLB debut, you never really know what you're going to get, but it's also backloaded with Ks in that Cincinnati lineup. You love seeing Aristides Aquino. You love seeing that.
Here you go.
I think to do that one.
Like I don't think he's just strictly a DraftKings play.
Okay.
I'll have my 100 lineups will feature 50 Garrett Cole lineups, right? That'll be the whole block. Half of my teams will be Garrett Cole. The other half will be split up amongst guys, and I wouldn't doubt if Cavalli finds his way in. It's a great matchup against Cincinnati. You already said that. He's a big prospect. He's got some juice. And over the last couple starts in the minors, 19 Ks, he can strike guys out. I believe that this could, like, there's several guys down in that sub 8,000 price range on FanDuel that kind of interesting tonight. He's one of them.
You want to fire off the rest of them as far as your list, or who else could it be?
We talked about Falter, and then the other guy that, man, like, I don't know if I'm going to get there, but right-handers against Detroit have been a thing now, and Glenn Otto doesn't like set the world on fire, but he's been fairly consistent lately. Like, he's going to go maybe 6, and in this matchup, it may even push it even further. 6 innings. Limits his runs that he gives up, and if he can just get to that 6 or 7 K mark, it's a fantastic night for his price tag. So he's interesting. Anytime I see left-hander against Pittsburgh, right-hander against Detroit, things like that, I got to check into those pitchers, and tonight those pitchers are actually halfway decent.
If you sort, like, I like to build my own Fangraphs page. Of course, I'm digging into the play IQ a ton individually, but I like to see the slate as a whole too. If you sort by Sierra, Otto is the worst pitcher on this slate. 5.21 Sierra, his ERA 4.66, xERA 5.54. Just, he's been bad, and he's been lucky too. But again, the matchup against Detroit makes him, I guess, interesting. You got him in the bucket there for you, Andre, as far as Otto, just because he's facing Detroit, and that's good enough?
No, I don't have him at all. I'm just trying to keep my.
Did we lose Andre? I think he might have froze on us. What do you think he was about to say? Well, he was saying that Chop was wrong. That's what I heard. He was doing it in a nice way. He's polite.
I believe it because the guy's he has trouble with walks, Otto. But I mean, you pull up the plate IQ on Detroit's walks. How much do they swing and miss and chase, and how much are they? How patient are they? And I think it'll be a fine matchup. Like I said, I don't know if I'll even get. I don't even know if
that's a good point, Chop.
I don't even know if the bats projections would have him even in the top. If you ran 500 lineups with some optimals, would he even show up at one time? I don't know with so many pitchers. So I don't know if he's going to make my lineup. But I have him highlighted, kept in my pool because he's very interesting. It's interesting with the matchup.
I'm going to guess. Otto's 6.2 on DK. How much is he on FanDuel?
7.7.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting there, but I hear you. It's actually a good point. Like, he's really been wild. 12.6% is too high, but this Detroit lineup, it strikes out an insane amount. It doesn't have any power. It doesn't hit the ball, and they're not patient. It's everything. It's the trifecta. If that was 3 things, maybe there's 4 things, but collectively 6.2% as far as walking. Green leading off is actually pretty patient, and Badu has been patient as well. 9 and 10% respectively, but otherwise, Reyes and Baez and Castro and Cabrera, it's terrible. It's just awful. There's like so many bad teams right now. It's like Cincinnati is horrendous, Pittsburgh is horrendous, Washington. Just these teams that are being rolled out are so terrible. Let's see, what else is the chat having to say? Kirkwood bought 1 million of those Rainmakers packs in the hospital. Are you still on Team Rainmakers, Chop?
I don't think people quite grasp what the Rainmakers is right now.
My bad.
So, hey, there he's back. It's all good. But I'll just finish up the Rainmaker thought real quick. Then Andre can pick up what he like. I wouldn't be buying packs right now. Like in the real world, when with sports cards, very rarely will I ever buy like a box and open it. It's fun. It's addicting.
Yeah,
but it's not profitable. You'll lose a lot of money in the long run doing that. So you shouldn't do that. And these Top Shot kind of spoiled people as like, man, if you can get a pack, you're going to make your money back because for a while everything was so plus. But opening up packs in general is not profitable in sports cards. I would not be opening up packs in Rainmakers. It's a DFS game. It's not a collectible game. It's a DFS game. So watch the packs. I'm definitely never team open up a bunch of packs, but I still think Rainmakers will serve its purpose, which is you get to play some DFS with it, which is fun.
Yeah, you got to compete against Vegas Dave, though. My understanding.
I'll take my chances with his.
That guy's never lost anything.
Yeah, I'll take my chances.
Mariners lineup just dropped. J-Rod leading off. Newly rich J-Rod. Good contract from the Mariners. Good for them. Good for J-Rod. locking them up for the next 13 years or something like that with incentives. Winker batting second, Haniger, Suarez, Santana, Frazier, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, Crawford, and Haggerty. Hey, Andre, tell the people what you're doing for. I'm on Twitter as well. I'm just kind of jumping around, and I saw Squirrel Patrol. He's got 4 entries at the DK Live Final this weekend in Boston. You're going to be there too. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I will be there covering actually the live final itself. So I'll be there. I'm going to be probably trying to fly out here. Hopefully today my flight gets out of here after I get off the show to Boston. Even though I could drive there, just prefer to take a flight. And just and going to have fun. Going to get to show everyone what a live final experience is like. So hopefully incentivize them to try to get to that point, because it is worth it. It is still obviously I would say set aside money for it to do it for sure, but the experience, the whole 9 yards, the hospitality that DraftKings or Fanduel might shows you is top notch, and it's worth it, and definitely the trip. And then you're playing for a big prize. Like I think your DraftKings is $1 million, I believe, up top for first place. So you can't beat that. You go for $1 million in a small pool of only 100 people, and look forward to hopefully having on an RG zone squirrel bring it down to on Sunday.
Yeah, Chop's talking about opening packs is negative EV. So is entering queues. But when you get that one card or when you win the queue, it's amazing, and it is an awesome experience. Do you have like a favorite live final experience? Is there something you can think of? I think you've been to some live finals, yes?
Yeah, I've been to like 3 or 4. I like the best one. I was really looking forward to one that we had that there was at when I had like 5 for NBA, but then obviously COVID happened, so it was at home.
Yeah.
But my favorite one probably would be. It's probably gonna be the one when I went to Miami for the NBA Finals and we were on the yacht. That was amazing with FanDuel. That was a great experience. Just the whole nightlife. The club scene was crazy. Things I can't talk about on air, but it was a good time.
I've been to Miami.
Yeah, so you can only imagine. So it was a great time, and it was worth it. Like I said, they showed you so much hospitality, and just love. It's a great experience, and hopefully get to show some of that. Not gonna show everything, because
you gotta get premium, or you gotta click into your 18 or above or something like that.
Yes, definitely for the after hours stuff. But I will show all the between the hours and what they have to offer. So, and I look forward to that. I look forward to hopefully people entering more and seeing a lot of people there that I know, and hopefully, get to win some money.
Are you gonna be doing interviews, like going around and like interviewing some people? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. I plan on trying to get as many interviews as I possibly can. Hopefully, if they let me go to the baseball game that they have tomorrow, I'll be doing interviews there, and then interviews at the event itself on Sunday before heading back home.
Chop, you got an answer as far as your favorite live final experience you can think of that you want to air out there?
The best trip I ever took live final was hands down, easily, the Bahamas. They kept us in a hotel that, you walk out the back door. They had a built-in water park to the hotel.
Wow.
Another 30 yards past that was the white sand, crystal clear beach attached to the hotel, private.
Was this Atlantis or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a little casino in the hotel. It was an awesome. You never left the hotel grounds. It was just that was hands down the best one.
All right. Chop, I kind of subtly mentioned it, but I didn't get your official take. Then thank you, Michael and chat, for reminding me. What's your thoughts as far as Mccullers?
I mean, he's Mccullers. He's capable of having a good game tonight. I'm not so much on him. I don't think he hasn't shown me enough since he's been back. I don't think he's working. This is like spring training for him, right? This is his third start of the whole year. I mean, in fact, since last year. So, the first game, the numbers looked fine on the surface, but he didn't have any control, and he got bailed out by double plays. In the second game, he didn't have any control, and he didn't get the double plays, and we saw what happened. He's just not 100% sharp right now. It's too wild, so he's not for me tonight.
All right, gonna go ahead. By the way, Choppa Showboat King in chat saying you were at the Playboy Mansion. Did that get buried? Did you forget about it? You don't want to talk about it?
I've been to the Playboy. I've won we've been there like 3 times. Playboy Mansion. Yeah, those are
I was
fun
there
too.
once.
Those are fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it got sold out, and whoever the new owners basically want no part of DFS, right? I think that's what happened, right? They basically either Hefner sold it or his whoever was controlling it on his behalf. So that's not happening anymore, I assume.
Yeah, they had a contract. I'm not privy to the details, but they probably didn't renew the contract. So
you mean privy? Privy.
Well, pervy. Jeff Ross was there. He's a little pervy.
Oh, yeah. I love Jeff Ross, the roast master.
I met him on one of the trips. He was high as a kite. He was all coked out, talking to the birds back there. Like, it was a good time, man. The Playboy Mansion's a good time.
I love a good roast, man. Jeff Ross is spectacular. Roastmaster General. Hey, Discord channel, it's been dropped. If you guys want to win 1 week free of RG Premium, I'll go ahead and drop this in chat as well. Again, there are some premium channels, some non-premium channels. There is a time limit at this too. Looks like about 29 minutes, maybe less. I don't see it counting down. So maybe if I click refresh or something like that, you get yourself 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium. All the projections, all the tools, all the articles. You read Dave's articles. You get the expert survey, the expert rankings. You get the optimizer. You get everything, all the goods, everything with the absence of NASCAR. You get MMA as well too. You get golf. You get preseason NFL, which is going down tonight. There's a 4-game preseason NFL season. NFL slate. If you guys aren't aware, that PSU fan, he's actually doing his content there. Jamino, of course, a part of that team. Both those guys have done well so far. Have had some screenshot life in the preseason stuff going on so far. You can get football a la carte if you just want football. If that's all you want, feel free to have at it. $299.99. That's the annual NFL subscription. Takes you through preseason all the way throughout the entire season. Lock in that price now. But again, you can get the umbrella, all encompassing, however you want to do it. Again, check out the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Click that enter button. You will be randomly drawn potentially to win yourself 1 week free RG Premium. And 3 winners are chosen. So you got 3 shots. You got 3 shots at winning this. And all right, Devin will let us know when that's going off, but keep an eye on it. Andre, you got anything else as far as pitchers, or shall we do the summary?
No, nothing else. Pretty much after Chop talking about it, made me kind of not want to play Peralta now. So kind of maybe a little bit out on Peralta, but I'd like Steele a lot on the opposite side. And going to be, like I said, try to get over on Spencer Strider and Bassett as much as you can. Shane Bieber's been hot too lately, so don't mind taking him as well. And obviously play Garrett Cole.
Chop, what do you want to add as far as pitchers before we move on and start talking about sticks and stacks and hitters and whatever else is on chat's mind?
Lots of really solid second and third tier options at pitcher tonight, but there's only one guy that stands out above everybody else for me. That's Garrett Cole.
Hey, we didn't mention Musgrove. Should we talk about him, Chopper? Like the Royals, I've been trying to make the Royals happen for a while, and it's just not happening. And they lost, Vinny Pasquantino, the Italian Nightmares now off that offense. It's a rough offense. I feel like we should at least acknowledge Musgrove's existence, right?
I didn't talk about him because I'm primarily playing on FanDuel. And on FanDuel, for $200 more, I can get Garrett Cole. So, I'm not really going that direction.
Nobody's going to play him if you want to run that argument. Like I imagine. Now I'm curious where we have him projected at, because it's probably really, really low for the reason that you pointed out. We got him at 5%. Bieber at 6%. Bassett at 7%. I really like Bassett at 7% for what it's worth. And I did run that Seattle lineup, and there's no Ty France. If you were wondering, France not playing baseball, at least not starting the game tonight. Let's talk about stacks and chat. Whatever's on your mind, feel free to fire it off. And do want to go back to Ross weather because I think it's somewhat important. One of the more appealing games. Oh, look at this. Roth updated it again. And now it's just straight yellow in Boston. So the concern in Boston has diminished throughout the day. It was orange earlier, then it was yellow-orange or orange-yellow. I think now it's just straight yellow, and he seems reasonably confident. And again, he'll be on in 45 minutes or so. Let you guys know what's going on there and everywhere else. I'll drop this in chat for the people, but that's good to see. Philadelphia, green, yellow, yellow, green in Washington, yellow in Boston, and green, yellow in Citi Field, the Mets. Read that at your own leisure. Chop, our expert rankings today across the board. All of us, everybody that did rankings as far as stacks, everybody put Philadelphia first. Do you agree with that? Are you going to take a stand on it? Or it's like there's 28 teams and really what are the odds that they are the best stack on the board? I know they're the best right now, but if you assume the field, somebody, I don't know who, is going to rise and beat them. Do you agree with that sentiment that Philadelphia is the best stack on the board?
Yes, by far they're the best one. Now, like you said, with that many teams, the reason why I would stack on a slate with this many games is because there's such a big opportunity that I can't predict who it's going to be, but there's going to be somebody who steps up and does well. But yeah, on paper, Philly is just a great spot here. Bryce Wilson, he's not that good. And even when he is good, he's limited to about 80 to 85 pitches. So even if he's doing well, he's still going to be out of the game in a decent time, and they're going to get to some bullpen. They got Bryce Harper back, who's looked really good in the minor leagues, rehabbing. The lineup is clicking with some of the guys they've just got some good pieces in there that are hot. Like Reese is hot, and this Stott is really a good young hitter right here. They just got a lot going on in this lineup. It's really good. So on paper, they're by far my favorite. Doesn't mean they're going to be the highest scoring team, because scoring 10 runs in baseball for a team on a given night, it's an anomaly. It's just, weird things have to happen. But on paper, Philly's definitely number one for me.
I see the chat talking about how they kind of disappointed of late. It is worth noting, like yesterday, Real Muto wasn't in there, Baum wasn't in there, and Harper wasn't in there. Like, so the lineup is distinctly better today. We might see some Bryce on Bryce crime with Harper versus Wilson. I think he's one of the more appealing bats. Specific to FanDuel, Schwarber is still 3-3 over there. Probably going to be one of the highest owned players, if not the highest owned player on this slate. Andre, what do you have here? You have a Philly take, and then beyond that, as far as stacks, we're seeing Toronto, the Mets, a little bit of Boston love, San Diego, Atlanta, just because they're Atlanta, not that the matchup's great necessarily. The ballpark's not great, but yeah, your thoughts as far as Philadelphia, and feel free to go beyond some of your favorite stacks on this slate.
Yeah, Philly is definitely by far, like we said, like Chop said, the top stack of the night. I'm going to definitely get some Philly exposure today. I love them. Can't probably play enough of them, honestly, in my line, especially with Bryce Harper being back. I think that just gives them just a clear upside advantage over every other stack right now. But I also like getting to the Mets a little bit too as well. Obviously, Toronto's another good one that we have to mention. I also like Houston a lot going against British. I think that's something that I have to pay, that I think people should be paying attention to and getting a little bit of today. That's some what else do I really like a lot today? I like Texas also as a secondary stack and sneaky as well. I think they have a chance to make some noise there. And I don't mind that Boston Tampa Bay game. I like both sides. Going to probably go more towards the Boston side though with that game.
All right,
and the Yankees as well. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. What a weird slate. The Yankees had 13 runs and no homers, which is so rare, but that's just what happened last night. Taking a peek as far as who else may be popping. I'm looking for team totals as well. I think, am I wrong to say that the highest team total, the only team total above 5 would be Philadelphia and the Mets, right? Philadelphia team total right now at 5.75. The Mets 5.71 up against Chad Kuhl. No Vogelbach. No girthy Daniel Vogelbach today. They are starting. I think Naquin had some BBP. The people in chat were talking about that. I don't know if that's the reason why. I don't know who's DHing for him, to be honest. Maybe it's Marcana. Not certain. We'll get that official lineup in a second. But no Vogelbach, cross him off the list. Trying to see if anybody else worth noting or just kind of we could talk about going around the horn. I did see a question. Oh, by the way, Chop, my Mancini to the Astros. You got to be. I mean, it's just beautiful. Again, yesterday, he hit a ball into the Crawford boxes. Would not have been a homer in Baltimore. He was facing a reverse splits righty. He salvaged my slate yesterday. I was well over on him, and I'm probably going to be again tonight because he's facing another reverse splits righty. How good is Mancini for Houston? It's just beautiful. Unfortunately, he's buried in the 6th hole, but I'm loving that move for them.
He's been what they asked for. He's been what they needed after losing Brantley, he's been really solid. So I appreciate that. And there was another question in chat about stacks. It said, would we stack against McCullers if we didn't like him as much? The answer to that for me is no, because when he has his problems, it's with control and walks. So I mean, if you're fine with taking a bunch of walks, yeah. But even when he's not on his game, he doesn't give up a lot of power, and you kind of want power in your stacks.
Yeah, like not a lot of homers this season. Of course, it's a small sample, like 0.82 homers per nine. Like, yeah, it's just walks, and you get that bullpen, and I think the Houston bullpen's pretty good. You tell me, Chop, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty solid pen these days. Respectable.
Well, it's good, but it's having the midseason. Past the midseason point, like no bullpen's going to go through a whole year and be like dominant from top to bottom all the time. You're going to have these issues. Right now, they are having a couple guys who are wearing down a little bit, so it's not as good as it was, let's say, a month ago. But it's still quality. But they're starting to wear down a little bit. They need some rest.
Let's go around the horn, give our favorite plays position by position. Christian Javier is coming to the bullpen these days. Is that right? That's what Don Yeezy's saying in chat. Did I miss that?
They did go to a 5-man rotation to try to get better adapted for when the playoffs roll around. So he might currently be one of the guys who is going to get skipped this time around in the rotation.
Okay. Naked HD is asking if we're stacking the Tigers. I mean, you can. I don't think Andre, are you stacking the Tigers?
That would be because Otto's popular more so on DK, so right or no? He's not even popular, so no. If he
I'll pull it up.
he's only got 4. I'll see 4% here, so not really. So no. If he was like transitly owned, yes, I would, but otherwise no.
I'm gonna guess he's around maybe 10% or something, if that, probably less. We're looking at 5-6%, 6.2K. The popular cheapie on DK is going to be Cavalli. $5,000 is the asking price. 11% is the ownership. I think he's the pretty clear, from a projection perspective, cheapie. If we're going not that low, it's probably Steele at 7.6K. But if you want to scrape the barrel, I think it's Cavalli, and I understand why. Good pedigree, good matchup. You never really know what you're going to get out of rookies, but that's probably the better option. But ownership and matchup, whatever. If you want to play yourself some auto, he's been bad and he's been pretty lucky. Catchers. I know FanDuel, you don't have to roster them. You certainly can. You're allowed to. Andre, you have any favorite catchers tonight?
Yeah, some of the catchers I do like is obviously JT Realmuto. If I'm playing a catcher, I don't mind taking a one-off in Sal Perez. Going against Musgrove just to get a home run. MJ Melendez as well as a one-off is another option I like. I do kind of like Baltimore a little bit. I know we don't want to roster really anyone against McCullers, but if you do decide to like run a mini Baltimore stack, like it's a secondary, I would be personally fine with that. Like Rutschman is someone I would target with that for sure. I like Varsho as well for Arizona. Contreras going against Quintana, someone I would look to get to as well as another option. And I do like Texas, so Jonah Heim is another option for me.
Shop, how about yourself as far as catchers? I'm pulling it up on the fly, see what we have as far as our projections catcher-wise on DK, because that's probably more important because, you're more likely to roster one over there. Catcher-specific, in theory, you want to save some money if you can. We got Alejandro Kirk back, and he's got a reasonable price and a good matchup in Boston against Waka for 4. Realmuto, if you have all the money, it's pretty pricey at 5.7, but certainly we like him in that Philadelphia stack. The punt du jour is looking like Keibert Ruiz against Mike Minor, who's just, really vulnerable to righties, batting 6th. Plawecki's a flat-out 2K, but he kind of stinks. Darno's 3.4, which is a pretty good price. What do you have here, Chop, as far as catchers?
Like just Realmuto is the guy I've highlighted. Just like he can. I don't need him in the stack. He's good enough to play outside of a stack. I can play him in the first base / catcher on FanDuel. He's that good, and he's one of the only ones that good. The other ones, you could play Kirk or Perez or Melendez. Those guys are fine, but I don't love them on FanDuel. And the catch-22 on FanDuel is always Dalton Varsho. He's catcher eligible, but you don't have to play a catcher. So you're using a first base or an outfielder spot on Varsho, but he's catcher eligible. So technically, I could recommend him here. Although I probably, I would only play him in the outfield. But that's about Catcher's pretty weak outside of Riamuto to me.
They're asking about. I don't want to give away all the sauce here, and Derek Hardy's the bats. Feel free to support. But he does have the pinch hit percent risk. Kyle Garlick is leading off for Minnesota. We're looking at a 69%. Not nice pinch hit risk. That is a big boy number. And then Lamont Wade, of course, he's a giant. He's a lefty, 61%. No surprise there as far as the pinch hit risk. But they were asking specifically about the dude leading off for the White Sox. Where is that question now? Yeah, Gonzalez. He's a second baseman, and Will Sheets hit for him. They might have to shuffle some stuff around. I want to see what I don't think it's going to be that high, but maybe I'm wrong, just kind of eyeballing it. I'll see if I can get there, but I don't think it's terribly high. I'll try to find it for you. As I do that, I'm going to throw it to Andre. You tell me your favorite first baseman tonight.
Okay, first baseman. Obviously, you got to start with a guy like Reese Hoskins today, so that's someone I like to get to a lot of. Vlad against Detmers is someone I love today. Obviously, Albert Poole. Pete Alonso, as well as another guy I want to roster a good amount of today as well. And then get to some Houston guys like Trey Mancini I like. I don't mind Yuli Gurriel as well. I don't even mind taking a little one-off in Michael Chavez just for the home run purposes and being low owned. And if you also want to roster Yankees, so TJ LeMahieu is an option as well, who I don't mind taking a shot on as well.
How about yourself, Chop? I mean, I know I've mentioned I mentioned it already. I like Mancini and Fanduel. I think he's 2.7 still. DK, I think he's outfield eligible over there, right? Not mistaken. Yeah, he's an outfielder over there. I like Mancini a good bit. How about yourself? Outfielders.
Outfielders or first baseman?
First baseman. My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, Andre mentioned Reese, my number one guy. I just like a lot of Philly tonight. So Reese, number one. Big Meat Pete, got to get some Alonso in there against Chad Kuhl. Don't mind that one at all. Other than that, Luke Voigt against the left-hander, I think, is fine tonight. And Christian Walker will probably go, maybe less than 2 or 3% owned. Christian Walker, all-star year. And Johnny Cueto's really doing it, man. He's really doing well, but
he's he does the gyrations and he just throws people off with all sorts of goofiness.
At some point, though, somebody's got to get to him, right? So maybe Arizona gets to him tonight. I don't know.
He throws off timing. It's he seems like a guy that's not fun to face. Although his stuff is he's just getting by with guile.
Yeah, he doesn't have good stuff in it. Where I don't know why other guys with good stuff don't try some of those shenanigans. I bet
it's a good point. Yeah.
It's tough. That'd be a tough deal, man. I always thought the old start and stop kind of stuff would really kill timing for hitters, but nobody really tries it that much.
Darvish does that, right? I feel like Darvish is a pause, he pauses his leg kick at some point. But yeah, I mean, and if you're struggling, try anything. See what sticks. Here's a good Chop question. Bugsy in chat wants to know, tell us why you're choosing the batters against those pitchers. Is it a certain pitch? Do you dig into certain? I'm not telling you digs into certain pitch stuff. Power, BVP is why I'm asking this question for you. And the people in chat, several people want to know, do BVP play the day?
There's really not much BVP today. Believe it or not, it's not just something I'm throwing out there just for throwing it out there, man. I need to really stand behind it. And today there was one guy, but it wasn't even that much, and so I didn't bother to.
Producer Steve says it's Tyler Naquin is the BVP play of the day.
I don't know what his is, but it certainly didn't jump off to me, so I don't know about that. But why do I choose batters? It's a myriad of reasons. It's everything. It's how they are, their talent level versus the pitcher, his talent level. It could be splits factored in. There is no one or two things. It's a total overarching picture. So I have no idea. There's just so many factors that go into it.
Yeah, splits are huge. A righty lefty. If a pitcher just yields a bunch of power, ballpark absolutely. And that's if you're not that's a huge factor. And we keep talking about Mancini, but Mancini is like one of the great examples to point to. His power was zapped in the new ballpark there in Baltimore. They just moved all those fences back and to make their pitchers look a little bit better, and just killing power on the right side. And what he does, he pulls the ball down the left, down left field, and all his balls are dying in the warning track. And in Houston, you got the really, really batter appealing Crawford boxes, which are a little bit high, but they're not that far away. I'm trying to see what Naquin is now. I'm curious because he's 2 for 7 with 2 home runs. Come on, what are we doing here?
No, I won't stand behind that one.
He's fine just because Chad Kuhl's not good, but I wouldn't say the reason why I'm playing him is because he's hit 2 homers off him. 1 strikeout, no walks, for what it's worth. And Nelly Cruz is 7 for 12 against Mike Minor with 3 doubles and 2 homers, but he's also like 97 years old now, so like he's changed. Not that Minor's any good, and like they're both getting worse. But historically, Nelly Cruz boomsticks absolutely annihilated southpaws, so whatever. But that's another one if you care for such things. I mushed Odor last time and he homered. Okay, I mushed Yelich. Play Yelich tonight. I'm not playing him. Have at it. Enjoy it. Let's jump to the second base. Second base has been like putrid down the stretch. It's ugly. A place to save some salary. Brandon Lau is really, really cheap on FanDuel. I think he's like 2.4 over there. Pretty good price on DK as well. I think he's the clear and obvious chalk, like in cash games. You can play yourself some Marcus Semien as well if you want to spend up. I'm good with Altuve. Chop, what do you have as far as the old keystone position? Who do you like at second?
Well, he's up to 3,500 now. Marcus Semien, like for a week there, we had him at 2,400, and it was a pretty fun week. But I still like Semien tonight in this matchup, 3,500 though. Altuve's up there also, like Altuve. Brandon Drury against a left-hander, batting cleanup tonight. Like that one. Going deeper in the order, it's going to cause the ownership to go down. But Gene Segura, Segura is like one of those perfect kind of stack players, bottom of the order, no ownership. But, man, like he still has the ability to put up a huge number from down there. So I like Segura at the bottom of the order. Same team, his teammate batting 7. In fact, Brian Stott. That's a really good correlation right there. If you're into that 7-8 hitter, bottom of the order for that part of that stack right there. If you like Philly, you don't have to go all chalk at the top. These guys at the bottom, like Stott's really good and Segura's really good. So you got that one. And then the last name I'll throw out there, Dean, these Atlanta Braves, man. I don't know where they keep finding the, and I don't know if it's going to last or if
their farm system's good, right? Is that what you're talking about? Just the way they're finding
player
guys?
Development, whatever they do. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to last, if they'll eventually find holes in them opposing. But Vaughn Grissom is awesome. He's awesome right now. So I got to throw him out there. He's really good.
They just locked him in for 7 years, right? That's what they do. I think it was Grissom. Well, no, was it Grissom that got a deal?
No. Yeah. Harris. And Harris is they eventually got to find some holes in his swing because he's just too good right now. That can't be sustainable.
Yeah, not a lot of power versus lefties for what it's worth. Harris so far, he's been much better versus righties, but and striking out a ton, 30% strikeouts. But I know you're talking just as a general, not necessarily tonight. But yeah, he looks like a good player going forward. What do you have here, Andre? Second base, who do you like?
Obviously, Brandon Lowe's too cheap on FanDuel to pass up. Marcus Semien's another guy I'm interested in. Jose Altuve, as Chop has mentioned before. I like into some Christian Arroyo. Jeff McNeil, part of the Mets stack. He's definitely only a stack guy you want to have, I would say. If you go also with Merrifield, being at the number 8 spot in this lineup, he was batting, I believe, first or second for KC, and now he's all the way to the 8th spot. So I think that's just, he should be batting a little bit higher, but that lineup is so good in Toronto. I think you should definitely get him in there against Detmers for sure. We mentioned Brandon Drury. I like him a lot, and Cronenworth as well. And obviously, I don't mind taking a little bit of a shot on a guy like, where is he? I can't not find them. Oh yeah. I don't mind saying it against like if you want to go with some Angels and a mini seg, I don't mind Rengifo, even though I don't really like him.
I see Mr. Richard in chat asking about stacking Washington versus Minor and MME.
I don't mind
on DK. I think that's really very much in play. And Washington's horrendous, right? But they have a team total almost 5. They have one of the bigger team totals on the board. And that's kind of, well, it's the ballpark is great for hitting baseballs. It's I got a little bit of bump according to Weather Edge. They're super cheap. And Mike Minor is giving up a ton of homers. Minor in this season, 2.23 homers per 9. A lot of fly balls, almost 47% fly balls. It's not even like homer in the fly ball wonkiness, like he's in a positive ballpark for homers as well. 16% is probably what it's kind of sort of what it is in Cincinnati. And they're cheap. They could just even as a secondary stack, you can get a big boy stack and you supplement it with some Washington guys. Lane Thomas leading off is 2K. These guys aren't spectacular. Avoid's got some power for sure, 3-4. We talked about Nelly Cruz historically killing lefties. You got the cheap catcher. I think Washington's a place I'm going to end up going just to sort of make stuff work. Meneses is batting third. He's not a prospect. He's like 30, but like he just broke to the majors. It's CJ Abrams is supposed to be one of the best players in the majors at some point. One of the top 2-3 prospects in all of baseball. Hasn't shown it just yet, but I do like Washington just to kind of make stuff work. I did not necessarily. Was that a mush of a Nelly Cruz chop? I don't think I was. I called him an old man. That was just me being honest. Like in baseball terms, he's an old man. I think he's Devin's behind. I called him 94-year-old. He's literally like 43 though. Like he's pretty old. One of the oldest guys in baseball. But I might play him if I'm stacking Washington. Sure. Your thoughts here, Chop, as far as Washington?
They're the classic example of you could stack them or you could play the opposing pitcher against them. In different lineups. Yeah, I don't mind them. They have some sneaky power in there with Luke Voigt batting cleanup, and then Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz isn't the same guy he was 5 years ago, but when you look up at the end of the year, he's going to end up with plenty of a handful of home runs. It could definitely one of them could definitely come tonight. So yeah, I don't mind that stack at all.
He just turned 42, so I added a couple of years on him, I suppose. If you don't want to mess with, like, hey, should I stack Washington? If you don't want to play against Chop, you want to play against Andre, you can play, fantasy sports a different way. You can check out Stat Hero, which is a unique fantasy sports platform that allows users to compete only against the house. You're playing against the house. You participate in a head-to-head style contest where Stat Hero is going to provide a lineup that you have to beat on your own pick'em style contest. And, we give you a nice, sweet, fat deposit bonus. Grinders, use the promo code GRINDERS, 50% deposit bonus up to $250. And Chop, you're giving people, again, I feel like there's probably some edge in this. You feel good about it? You're giving people a college football specific winner. What do you have for them?
Oh, there's definitely edge in this one. Like, just going into it right now, I've got to be a huge favorite in this. Like, right. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, huge favorite. You see how it's broke down there? There's 4 players, 2 MVPs, and then 2 regular players. So, their MVP is a running back for Nebraska. He's part of like a 3 or 4 man rotation. His best bet to do anything is going to be in the passing game. So, like, the odds are against him performing super well. My top MVP is the number 1 wide receiver from the team. His second MVP or their second MVP is a guy who may get limited playing time. Just on the server right now, we don't know all the details, but there's a chance this guy gets bumped down the depth chart and he's got limited snaps tomorrow. He could take a 0. Like, he could legit take a 0, get in there for a couple snaps and not get anything. My second MVP is one of the better running backs on the team. And then we canceled out Evan Hull for the Northwestern, and then my Marcus Washington wide receiver number 2 against. Well, they took Anthony Grant down there in the other spot. So basically, my Marcus Washington against their Ramir Johnson. There's a big edge. There's a big edge in this right now.
Once again, use the promo code GRINDERS, GRINDERS, 50% deposit bonus up to $250. That is at Stat Hero. Chop, how good is Texas going to be? Don Yeezy wants to know in chat. I feel like Maybe I'm mixing something up. I thought I saw you writing them up on Scores and Odds not too long ago. Am I making that up or no?
Yeah, I don't think that was me. It was probably somebody else. But to answer the question, I mean, on paper, they look really good. On paper, they have a ton of firepower. So we'll see how it plays out. They can get the coaching and the discipline and all the other stuff on paper. They look really, really good. So I give them credit. They're building a good program, but sometimes that doesn't always work out for Texas.
Did Texas, like, was it their quarterback that famously said, "We're back," and they got crushed like a bunch of times after that?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was that was them. But yeah, they should have some firepower this year. They should be good. So I'll tell you who's going to be good, Dean.
UCF?
Oh, man. I can't wait to play UCF.
Defending champions. Well, a couple of years ago, they won a championship.
I can't wait to play UCF this year because Houston's going to be good.
Oh, man. It's going to be fun. We got to have a wager on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can do that, Dean, for sure.
I got to want some points. I don't know where they're playing at, but are we dogs? I don't even
know. Yeah, you'd be dogs. I don't know where they're playing or if they're even on the schedule this year.
I don't know if we're playing. Yeah, I don't know if we play.
But this year. Before we move on to the next spot, Dean, I think we got a little bit of time. Our producer Steve, if you have the photo handy, can we please drop I need to ask. I've been waiting for TJ to show up. Don't see him in chat. And I was going to ask you, what's going on here, man?
Yeah.
What's going on here, TJ? Is this some kind of a convention?
He's cosplaying. You know what cosplaying is,
right? Is this like a swinger convention? What's going on here?
No, it's not.
No, you know what I mean, D. You know what I mean.
No, it's all fun. Like they're having a good time. I think. Well, I don't want to assume. I think Andre knows about this world because he's a comic book guy, right?
Yeah, it's like when you go to Comic-Con, you gotta dress up sometimes. You gotta have fun. So enjoy yourself a little bit.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. I was wondering what they were doing. They're just going like Comic-Con. All right, that answers the question.
What did you think it was? Like a furry convention?
I didn't know. Some sort of convention, if you catch my drift.
I do catch your drift.
They have a lot of those.
We got some winners, by the way, in the Discord. If you guys did not participate, y'all missed out. Gave away 1 week free RG Premium to 3 people, 3 winners. Smokey, CA14, Hustler 443, and Steven 1974. Shout out to y'all for just clicking the enter button. We'll be running it back next week, I'm sure. We tend to do it more so on Fridays or Mondays or maybe Wednesdays, but we always announce it when we're on the show. Not very hard to get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. We'll run it back next week, and thanks for participating for those that did not win. Third base, hot corner. Andre, go for it.
Third base. I like Manny Machado a lot. Yandy Diaz, Jose Ramirez. We didn't really talk about Cleveland. Cleveland is a nice little mini stack today. I think more so secondary though, definitely, or 3-man if you're running like 3 threes. I do like Alex Bregman a lot today. Bobby Witt. For Kansas City, the more I look at it, I might play some Kansas City today.
Oh no, I've lost so much money on Kansas City this year.
I know. I don't know. Musgrove hasn't looked that great, but we'll see. I like Alec Baum as well. Today, don't mind taking shots on him. Kyle Farmer, if you're running some Cincinnati's mini stacks or just want to use him as a one-off, you can. And yeah, I like Brett Beatty, this lefty from the New York Mets. I really like him a lot today.
Gonna give out some homer calls. I see Cleveland Picker in the chat is asking for some homer calls. We'll do that before we step aside and make way for the Crunch Time crew. You got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. You got Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner. You got STL Cards as well coming in about 10-15 minutes. Going to be taking you guys home, answering all the questions in the premium chat for premium subscribers. And if time allows, if Roth needs to kill some time, he's happy to jump over to YouTube and knock out your questions. Otherwise, you got to ask your questions now, and we'll do our best to get to them. Shop, you want to give the people some homer calls? I mentioned Mancini. I'm going to run it back. I like him yesterday. I like him again today.
We're doing home run calls?
Sure.
Already?
I mean, well, I don't know. Should I say we got to hit a certain number of likes? We got to do that gimmick. Speaking of TJ, hit that like button, smash it. I haven't mentioned it once the whole time, so it's probably low.
Chalky home run. I don't think we've gotten to that position yet, but Kyle Schwarber, chalky home run.
Oh, come on, Chop.
Okay. I'll give you another one. It's
Bryce Harper.
Nah. Well, I was just going to talk about this guy, but Austin Riley.
Good, because they're asking about Riley in chat. Tell me about is he somebody you're making sure to grab more than the field?
Yeah, absolutely. Austin Riley against the left-hander, he's just really good. He's just a really good hitter regardless. And against lefties, even better. Sure, Atlanta's just, man, it's they're a really good team from top to bottom. So at some point they'll get to their opposing pitcher and get into the bullpen, even if Quintana's pretty good. So Austin Riley's solid. And my other third baseman that, Andre, he mentioned a couple of them, Bregman and Machado and those. I like Josh Donaldson.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Yandy Diaz. Dean, I was shocked when I pulled up some stats and realized Yandy Diaz is 8th in Major League Baseball in on-base percentage. He walks like 14% of the time or something.
Yeah.
He's become a really solid ball player.
The shocking thing about him is he's ripped and he has no power.
Yeah, well, it happens. Some guys are all show, no go.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I think he hits a lot of ground balls is his problem, right? 53% ground balls, and it's hard to hit ground ball homers. That doesn't happen very often. Fly balls at 28%.
But look at that strikeout percentage, though. That's crazy. I'd take him in my lineup any day.
Yeah, he's a good professional hitter to have in your lineup, but from a DFS perspective, he's not a lot of fun to roster. We have less than 100 likes. Let's get to at least 100. Let's knock those out.
We are slacking on the likes today, fellas.
Well, I don't like to beg and grovel. And do you want to beg and grovel, Chopper? Let the people know. Hit the like button. Roth basically tells them, look, if you don't hit the like button, the show's gonna go away.
If y'all want a nice little parlay, hit the like button.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Is this one of those 17 legs? Or how many legs we got in this parlay?
I have a couple right now, so I'll throw out one of them to try to win some money. I'm not going to give it the whole bank away though. But if y'all want $1 million parlay,
woo,
125.
And by the way, speaking of betting, Tim, who was on the show yesterday, he's been on the show several times throughout this week. Scores and Odds premium product, sister channel, under the umbrella here. Better Collective, RotoGrinders. He has a free picks article as well on Scores and Odds. Let me go ahead and drop it in the chat. He's got a take as far as Garrett Cole, his strikeouts tonight. He's got a Bryson Stott. Oh, we just go ahead and drop this in the chat. Okay, let's have a little synergy. Show Tim some love. He took some effort to write an article for the people, so feel free to read that. We do have to knock out shortstops and outfielders and whatever else is on chat's mind as we're yielding to the Crunch Time crew coming in momentarily. What do you have, Andre? Shortstop, who do you liking?
Francisco Lindor, Bogarts, Bobby Witt. The more and more, I'm gonna run this Kansas City mini stack today. And pray to God that it goes off. Carlos Correa, Jeremy Pena is another one. Ahmad Rosario, some of the, and Swanson today too as well, and obviously Corey Seager.
Chop, shortstop.
Yeah, he mentioned most of them: Lindor, Bogarts, Jeremy Pena. I would kick in Willie Adames is the one name I would kick in that he didn't mention.
You like him as a one-off, or you like a Milwaukee little mini stack? I think he's a good
just one-off. He's probably their best hitter. Period. Right? Not just right now in general. Probably the best hitter, righty on lefty. Yeah, just a one-off.
Lindor, by the way, pretty good price at FanDuel. 3.6. He's generally not that low. 5.6. You got to pay the full price there, but I do like that FanDuel price. Of course, still play him on DK if you want to stack up the Mets. Let's see. We are over 100 likes now, according to the chat. Well done. We do appreciate that. Andre, give him a tease. What do you got as far as some bets today?
All right, let me see. Let me go to my phone real quick. I've been writing stuff down, putting stuff in. I have a 4-leg that I like. I like obviously. I'm working right now on a 16 on the money line parlay that I'm trying to get together. But I like Dodgers, Phillies, Mets, Yankees to all win. I like the over in the obviously the Boston game, the under in the Mets game. I like also Boston to win that game against Tampa Bay. I don't know if I said that. I also like the over in the Washington-Cincinnati game.
If you want to play in the RotoGrinders sponsored FanDuel single entry series Ace contest going down tonight, there's about 16 spots remaining. I'm in the lobby right now. If you want that, it's going to sell out maybe by the end of the sentence. It's going to sell out very, very soon. If you've not yet reserved your spot there, of course, you want to participate in that contest because if you have the highest amongst your top 4 scores throughout the week, you will go to Chicago, win a trip to Chicago, hang out with Squirrel Patrol and Christy and TJ, all those that have qualified for the bigger contest. There's an individual contest just for the single entry series qualifiers. 8 people, I believe, vie for a $50,000 prize pool, $10K up top. And again, you drop your 3 lowest scores, use your top 4, assuming you've played all throughout the week, Monday through Sunday. And if you want to play, go to FanDuel because it's going to sell out. By the time Roth reads this in about 5 minutes or so, it will be gone, as it typically always is, because it's a good contest as is, and there is added value. Chop, what do you have as far as outfielders today?
All right. Kyle Schwarber he's a lock. I think Andre needs to put him on his home run parlays. That's a lock for a home run.
Yeah.
That's easy money. Right? I like his teammate Bryce Harper to come back. He was hitting opposite field home runs in his rehab stint these last few days. So Bryce Harper's in. He's going to come back in fine form. I like Bryce Harper tonight. Jordan, get some Jordan in there. Jordan and Kyle Tucker, both the Astros against Bradish should be okay. Tommy Pham. I like Tommy Pham tonight against Tampa Bay. It's a little revenge spot for him. So Tommy Pham, another Philly guy. Like this whole outfield loaded. Nick Castellanos. I just like Philly 1 through 8, 1 through 9. They're going to see several home runs tonight. So you just, hopefully you pick the right ones. Teoscar Hernandez against the lefty I like. And AJ Pollock batting 5th. Cheap price against the left-hander. I can get behind that one.
No Luis Robert in that lineup. I see a question in chat. Aaron, best outfielder on FanDuel, 3,900 or less. If we're not counting Schwarber, just like, you should already have him. If I'm assuming there's like a cash game lineup or whatever. But Ohtani at 3.9 versus Mitch White looks like the best option for me. Andre, outfield?
Kyle Schwarber. Pretty much almost every same guy that Chop mentioned. I love Bryce to hit a home run today. That's one of my home run calls his first game back. Got him going yard. I like Kyle Tucker a lot. George Springer. I like getting a little bit of Dalton Varsho, like some of these Chicago White Sox guys like Eloy or Andrew Vaughn. I think that game actually goes over too. That's another betting prop to give out there today. Alex Verdugo, Cedric Mullins. It's loaded out here in outfield. Just I definitely want to use this as part of my stacks for the most part, or one-offs.
Question in chat. Cheyenne's talking about, do we like Kyle Garlick? The issue with Garlick is there's a really strong chance he gets the hook. He gets pinch hit for at some point.
Would you say, Dean, would you say that when playing Garlic, there's a strong smell of a potential pinch hit situation?
I knew you were trying to weasel it in. You're trying to crowbar or something. I wasn't sure if you're going like a vampire reference, but I knew something was brewing over there. Yes, the scent is a pinch hit smell at some point. Maybe he gets 3 at bats because he's leading off. And again, if they're up 10-1 in the 7th inning, he probably sticks around too. But just understand what you're getting yourself into. And of course, he can hit a homer in the first at bat. Who cares? What am I hearing? Is it it's the Crunch Time crew? Somebody's mic is whistling on the Crunch Time side. I don't know who it is. SDL Cards, Dave Potts, the Millionaire Show. 5 individual millionaire winners on this show. We don't have to break down who's who. There's no need for egos here. We got the chief meteorologist, Kevin Roth. Roth, I meant to ask this to you yesterday. This came up in the show, and there's a reason why I'm asking you specifically, so understand that before you answer.
Okay.
I can't remember who the first guy was. The first guy was somebody really good. But who's the person who has the most home runs in baseball, second most home runs in baseball since 2018? This was a trivia question that came up in chat yesterday. Who would Roth say is the answer?
I mean, is it Aaron Judge? I don't know right now.
Maybe one, but there's a reason. Who's one of your favorite players you
Come on, Roth. He's giving you the hint.
It's on a tee, Roth.
Shohei Ohtani.
It is
It's
on a
Shohei.
tee, and
It's
even
no-
my kids wouldn't swing and miss.
Is it
It's not
Shohei?
Ohtani. He wasn't hitting home runs in 2018, I believe.
I mean, my other favorite players are Deonor Navarro and Rocco Baldelli, and I'm pretty sure it's not
Oh
them.
man, he is just striking
Roth.
out before the
Roth.
weekend even starts.
Rob, who's like a random guy that you throw out as a home run lock and he always homers that you probably wouldn't even realize how great he is?
Eugenio Suarez, baby.
There you go.
that
That's
it?
the answer. According to yeah,
Yes.
which is kind of a surprising answer, right, Dave? Well, he's been healthy and he hit a bunch of homers in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely surprising. But yeah, he had those couple years in Cincy where he was just ridiculous. And I mean, I can hit home runs in Cincinnati without striking out much more than he did.
Yeah, well, that's especially against lefties. He was a lefty. I'm sure Cardi, if he was here, he would confirm. Eugenio Suarez confirmed lefty masher. What's up, Cards? How are things in your world? Are we still excited about Pujols? Is he in the lineup tonight versus the righty? He is. Right?
He is, because half the team has decided to have babies over the last 10 days. So not sure what was going on 9 months ago, but they're without Arenado now for a few days. So they got Albert in there tonight.
Pujols is becoming a grandfather, probably.
Yeah, surprised he's not on leave for a while.
Who else is on leave?
Hey,
you got
speaking
Arenado.
of babies, I gotta go. I'll be back, but I gotta go. It's just like screaming bloody murder. I'm sorry, guys. Carry
That
on.
may be where the whistling
We'll
was
talk
coming
amongst
from.
ourselves.
We'll hold the fort down until Roth comes back. But Helsley was out for like 10 days because his wife had a baby, and everyone was screaming, and why does he need 10 days off? It turns out, the baby had to have some tests done and stuff, and she's fine. But, the manly men of the message forums on the internet were getting very upset with a father taking 10 days off. Sometimes
mad
things
at
are a little more
Kirk
important
too.
than a ball game.
Kirkwood. Shout out to Kirkwood. Had a child. His lady friend had a child.
Steve, she's not a lady friend. Jesus, Steve.
What do I say? Why, Davis?
I mean, there's a million terms better than lady friend.
lady friend's a term of endearment.
Girlfriend is perfectly fine.
Girlfriend. He's been with her forever, though, right? That sounds weird.
But they're not married. That's
Well,
His
yeah.
common
That's why I can't
law
say-
wife.
That's why I can't say
common
wife.
law.
Common law wife. I like that term.
I don't think lady friend's insulting. I don't mean it. Is that an insulting word? Am I using that wrong? Is this wrong?
Well, I think we got to bring the women in to answer that question. You got the wrong audience.
Well, Marshall in chat says lady friend is good. Old lady? Now I wouldn't say old lady. That I would not use. The old lady. Lady friend is very insulting. Okay, I'm not really sure, but I would not use that. I'm not using it to be cruel. But Kirkwood's going to be on maternity leave. So shout out to him. Enjoy yourself, and hopefully everybody's happy and healthy. But Roth, I presume, will be coming back shortly. Chop or Andre, you got anything here for the boys before? I guess it's a two-man show, and Roth should be coming back momentarily, I imagine.
I'll hold the fort down until Roth comes back.
Cards is doing the weather anyway, so it's fine.
What's the
it's
home
no
run?
problem.
Who's everyone's home run call for today? I'll put a parlay for it all together. Just one person each.
I'll throw one out there. Give me Castellanos.
I saw Mancini at like plus 450 earlier today. I'm not sure if that has moved, but keep talking about his righty power, how it plays with the Crawford boxes in Houston, and he's facing a righty reverse splits pitcher. Mancini is my favorite when you consider, like, obviously you can say Schwarber, you can say Harper, but they're like plus 230 and plus 260, and you got to lay, I don't love that number. I don't like anybody to homer basically 2-1, but DFS.
If you're parlaying a bunch though, does it matter as much what the number is? I don't know. It's an
It does.
It does. Well, in case you're the obviously the more plus money, the higher the odds will be.
I think clear.
I was just thinking once you get to like 4 or more guys in a parlay, like your number is so huge anyway. Like,
not necessarily. I've only gone to like 4 guys. I picked 4 guys at plus 200. You probably only get like 1,500 for $10.
that's ridiculous. Who wants that nonsense?
Not I.
Well, then I won't give you Pete Alonso because that's probably not a big
No
enough number.
plus number that's too big for Andre.
Fine. Brandon Drury.
That's a good one.
You got to throw Suarez in there out of principle at this point, don't you?
If Roth was here, that's who he would
Yeah,
say.
it's
That's
too
his
tough
call.
matchup though.
Yeah, I'm ignoring that game, so hopefully it's quiet from like a 3-2 no homers kind of game and no strikeouts. So that's sort of my hope as far as the Cleveland Seattle game. Andre, Chop, you got anything else before I yield to Cards and Dave?
No, that's all I had. So I got Nick Castellanos, Trey Mancini, Brandon Drury, and I guess
George Springer. There you go.
George Springer. Got it.
It's a random collection of dudes. You are definitely not going to win that parlay, but I like it. You know?
Two of them might homer. I don't know which two, but two of them might.
Hey, by the way, all three of you guys look fantastic. I won't say which one the most fantastic, but you all look great.
And
Wait,
Roth
there's
is
more.
back from the abyss from helping his lady friend. That was
Well, he's
Dean's
got
quote.
a wife. I wouldn't say that's his lady friend. I would say
Oh,
it's
okay.
his
So
wife.
it's only lady friend when you're not married.
I don't know what word to use when it's like it's been a long time you're together, but you're not officially married. And I don't know. Just tell me the word and I'll use it. But I feel
Are you
weird
calling Kirkwood a moron?
No. Why would I say not at all? He makes his own choices, and I'm sure I wish him the best.
All right,
don't
we'll stop
know why.
digging the tunnel for you.
Roth, everything good on your end?
I mean, define good. It's
Relatively
fine.
speaking?
We're surviving, I think. So, live shows and two toddlers, just not a good combination. But we're here. We made it, and it's time. So thank you for stalling for me.
All right. And Kirkwood chiming in chat, officially saying fiance. She's got a ring. All right, fiance. We'll go with fiance going forward.
Congrats.
There you go. That's so much easier. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was an engagement. Nobody sent me a memo. I didn't get railroaded into buying a gift or any sort. I'm on a list. Feel free to send me one. I'm happy to buy a gift. But all right, I got to step aside and get out of here. Myself and Chop and Andre, we got to make some lineups. It's STL Cards. It's Dave Potts. It's Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. It's the Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time. It starts now. Go for it, Roth.
Indeed, it does. Welcome to it, everybody. This is Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. As Dean mentioned, FanDuel Single Entry Series, best thing going. We're in the 5th week right now, but we still have another week, I do believe. Top finisher in each series gets an all-expenses-paid trip to the Single Entry Series Championship in Chicago on September 9th. Shot at the $10,000 grand prize, so make sure you are filling that out each and every day. Joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Mr. Dave Potts, the horse whisperer himself, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood. What's up, Cheese?
Not too much. I did not go see your friend today, but we'll be hanging out this weekend.
I'm glad to hear it. We got STL Cards with us as well. Cards, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. The Cardinals are 6 games ahead, so it's looking pretty rosy for the ball club to make it to October. So can't
Cards
complain.
just jinxed
It's
the
Friday.
entire season for no reason in a random end of August show. Unbelievable.
Just unnecessary jinxing by
Why
STL
would you
Cards.
do it? Why would you do it?
What's
Well,
the
because
upside,
now
Cards?
I can bet them at like plus 2,000 to not make the playoffs, and the emotional hedge is complete.
Yeah, I have been following, because I am invested in your emotions. So I have been following along, and yeah, they've been doing good. They've been winning games and looking all right. So good job on almost making playoffs. Guys, we got to talk about this slate. It looked like Boston was going to be troublesome. It still might end up getting a very, very brief start, but it's fine, and everything's fine, and there's no worries. So we can ignore weather. Does that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
Done and dusted.
Yeah, yes, I'm pleased. So, Cheese, let's talk about this slate a little bit. You want to give me a breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, big picture is, it's a 14-game slate, and there's a few things you can kind of cross off on both sides, but there's a lot of good pitching. There's a lot of good offense, and it's at all different price ranges. So you can build just about any way you want to build. You can go cheap pitching and load up on the bats. You can go mid-tier everywhere. Or you can go expensive pitching with cheap bats, and it's all pretty good.
Okay.
So
you want to start talking about those pitchers?
The pitching side, we'll really kind of break it down into pricing tiers because it really kind of depends what you want to do with your offense. The very obvious SP1 is Garrett Cole. He's in Oakland. He'll be popular. He's expensive, but not, again, like you can make anything work that you want to make work. I will tell you that I personally am under the field on Cole, not because I have any issue with him, I just happen to like the other builds more. But he's just kind of been batted balled to death for the last month. He's still pitching well. This is a good spot for him to do well. So he's the number one pitcher for a reason. But like at $1,000 ish or so less than him, like 1,000 plus on DK, and then, somewhere around 1,000 on Fanduel, you have this whole group of Bieber, Bassett, and Musgrove as kind of the good, safer, good in real life pitchers. And then like Spencer Strider for upside. Out of that group, personally, I like Bassett the best, but it's very mix and match. They're all very close. But I go Bassett first, Musgrove and Bieber in basically a tie, and then Strider fourth. Now, the next little step down from that, Freddie Peralta. And you could throw Lance McCullers in here. I'm off of McCullers. He's 2 starts back, and I need to see something from him before I play him. But I wouldn't yell at you for doing it. I am also not playing Peralta personally. He's 4 starts back off the IL. He hasn't looked right either. The long-term skill set and the matchup would tell you he has upside, and I get it. And this is another one. I wouldn't tell you you're doing something wrong to play him. I'm just not playing him. He missed my cut completely. Then from there, we go down another step. It's more of a DK thing, but I think even on FanDuel, I'm playing Bailey Falter on FanDuel because he's only 6,200. Decent-ish pitcher against the Pirates, who are not decent-ish against lefties, and he's super cheap. On DK, I'm a huge Justin Steele fan. I said this in the article, like I'm completely open to the idea that I am overrating his recent stretch. But his recent stretch is like he's been simply better than Garrett Cole, like without any argument or question recently. I'm not saying he is better than Garrett Cole, but like his price, if it's even like semi-partially real, he's still just way too cheap. And this is actually a pretty great matchup too. So I have a ton of Steele. Bailey Falter is also in play for me on DraftKings. And then we have this cheap rookie, Cade Cavalli, who is a pretty good prospect. Who knows? It's his first career start. And we've seen this so many times this year. These guys come up. Sometimes their first start is horrendous. Sometimes it's great. Like there's nothing you can do to project it. It's just at 5K, I'm playing him. I think it's worth the shot. He's definitely good, and it's a good matchup. But, I said that about Brian Bayo and Cole Reagans when they came up, and their first starts were horrendous. So, like, you just simply don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Cards, it sounds like Cheese is playing every single pitcher in the world, or at least there's a lot of good pitchers.
I'm telling you who are the good plays. I'm playing Steele and Cavalli.
Okay. Fair enough. Cards, what are you doing here? Because it seems like there's a lot of legitimate playable guys.
Yeah, there is a lot, and that makes it a really interesting night. Cheese and I agree on most guys except one. I agree. I'm off Peralta as the second chalkiest pitcher in our ownership projections, and the fact that he doesn't rack up a lot of efficient innings. The Cubs, while they're still the Cubs, they have been playing a lot better over the last 2 weeks. They're above 500 in that stretch. So it's not like the Cubs are rolling over. Granted, their lineup isn't spectacular, but Peralta's not some sort of dominant, must-have pitcher. So I agree with Cheese. I'm off Peralta. I'm off McCullers against an improving Baltimore team until we see something. The cheap guys, we're in agreement on. I'm a big fan of Steele as well. Really impressed with what he's done lately. Falter's too cheap on FanDuel. You've got the kid for the Nats pitching tonight. All those guys are viable. The only range where we kind of differ a little bit is in that kind of right behind Garrett Cole range, where my favorite is actually Strider against the Cardinals. And it is a bit scary because the Cardinals have been playing well, but you look at Strider's strikeout upside. The first time he pitched against the Cardinals a few weeks ago, he struck out like 8 of the first 9 guys, 6 innings with 12 Ks, and yeah, it's only 1 start. But now you take that St. Louis lineup without Arenado in it tonight. They've got Corey Dickerson hitting cleanup, and he's been really good lately, but still, Corey Dickerson hitting cleanup. Big step down from Nolan Arenado. They've got Pujols in there tonight against a righty. I just don't love the way that their lineup matches up against Strider. And he's been a little bit more inconsistent lately, but the strikeout rate is still very real. So if you're looking for a ceiling on those 10K plus guys, I'll take the ceiling of Strider over Bassett, Bieber, and Musgrove in GPPs tonight. So I'm fine with all the guys that Cheese mentioned. I think they're all strong plays, but Strider is the guy I will be most overweight on in that kind of upper mid-tier range for GPPs.
Okay, and then cheaper, anyone of interest? Cheese mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I like the same guys. Cavalli on DraftKings at that price is too cheap. FanDuel, Falter, it's the same guys that Cheese mentioned there, but Steele is the super contrarian play, but doesn't really fit the definition of cheap. Maybe on DraftKings at 76, 9,800 on FanDuel is a little more difficult to endorse, but on such a deep pitching slate. But I do like him on DraftKings quite a bit as well. Okay, let's talk about some of the bats and some of the stacks. I guess we got to save money if there's all these good expensive pitchers. Well, there's cheap pitchers too. I mean, so, this is kind of what Cheese said at the start. You can build any type of lineup you want tonight. And there's a lot of good cheap bats too. Like there's 2K bats that you can roster fairly comfortably tonight on both sites. So if you want to build like a double stud pitcher build on DraftKings and go Cole and Strider, there's enough cheap bats to do it. Or if you want to go with the, more expensive offenses and go with a Falter or, Nats pitcher and use one of those cheaper guys, even Mike Minor might get a little ownership tonight. You can do that as well. So really, whoever you like the most for offense, you can make the pitching work around it. The chalk stack is probably going to be Philly against Bryce Wilson, who's just horrible. And the Phillies have like a 5.7 run total. I like Toronto a good bit as well. The Mets lefties, I think, in a good spot against Chad Kuhl. If you're not a fan of Mike Minor, you're looking for a cheap stack. I think Washington could be in play as the so-called vomit stack tonight if you want to get that stud pitching build. So yeah, a number of different ways you can go. I think the one kind of high-end offense that maybe I'll shy away from a little bit is Houston. Because I'm a fan of Kyle Bradish's skill set, but he hasn't shown much at the major leagues, and similar to, you kind of get hooked on some of these young guys and maybe he really isn't as good as everyone thought he was going to be, but there's enough offense on this slate where you can take a stand against one of the higher end offenses. So give me Philly and the Mets at the top, Washington as a cheap stack. But really you can make a case for quite a few offenses, San Diego as well. Okay. Great. Cheese, what are your plans here with the bats?
So I would agree. Like Philly is definitely the chalk. And I mean, I would call them the top offense. But a 14-game slate when one team is pretty clearly chalk, I don't like them enough better than everyone else to feel like I just have to play them. Mm-hmm. I also like the Mets quite a bit. I think that the Mets will get pretty popular on FanDuel. Like some of those salaries just make it really easy, especially Nimmo and Naquin. You play those guys, it's really easy to go Alonso Lindor and then whatever else you want. Padres, I like a good bit. I am ridiculously going back to the White Sox again because I enjoy losing more than I enjoy winning. Just so much. It's so crazy that this team isn't good. And one of these days they'll have a good
You see
game.
how they lost last night?
I don't even look at it. No.
10 seconds. The Orioles needed one out, or the White Sox needed one out. There was 2 outs and nobody on base. Left fielder dropped an easy fly ball in foul territory that would have been the final out of the game. The next pitch, the guy hit a home run to tie it, and then they walked it off in extra innings. A perfect summary of the White Sox this year.
That is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, they're so bad. It's just so far this Tommy Henry character also looks so bad. So, and we have a minimum salary leadoff guy. I don't know. I'm not playing anything super heavy, but I again am going to lose with a few White Sox stacks. But it basically Phillies, Mets, and then a little drop to like Blue Jays, Padres, Astros, and then I'm kind of spreading out.
Okay. All right, well, let's go position by position. If you're watching on YouTube, the show is free thanks to FanDuel. All you got to do is hit the like button to keep the show going. So go ahead, hit that like button. Cheese, let's go around the horn, and we'll finish up the battery and talk some catcher.
Look at you, battery. Yeah, we will.
I feel so fancy every
fantastic.
time I say that.
Great
job. What a baseball guy.
Yep. If you got salary, if you're going cheap at pitcher, one of the reasons to do that is to play Real Muto at catcher. We again have Alejandro Kirk, just kind of like significantly cheaper than Real Muto. He's playable on FanDuel because he's cheap enough. Travis d'Arnaud is probably the go-to kind of cheap-ish catcher on DK. I think you could do even like Keibert Ruiz or something cheaper. But I really do like Kirk and Real Muto, as does everyone. And I'm throwing a little Wilson Contreras in the mix as well.
Okay, cards.
I like the calls that Cheese made there. I think Kirk is probably my favorite on a points per dollar basis. Obviously, Real Muto is fine. Interesting call on Contreras. He's been out for a few days. I think he's a really interesting kind of super contrarian play tonight. I mean, you look at his ownership, it's not going to be even close to the other top end guys because he's been out a few days and he's got a significantly tougher matchup. But I like that call as well. Some of those contrarian spend ups at catcher could, you get a home run and a double from one of these guys, and maybe Real Muto and Kirk don't do much tonight. That could give you a huge leg up on the field. So totally fine punting if you want to go down into the cheap stuff. Or if you're kind of in that mid-range, Travis d'Arnaud is still 3,400 on DraftKings. Outside of that, you're probably not playing anybody other than Real Muto or maybe Kirk on FanDuel, where you don't need a catcher.
Okay, take me to first.
All right, so you're going to see it a lot of positions. The Phillies guys are going to be topping the list, and Hoskins is obviously great. So no issues playing Hoskins as a mid-range play at first base, but I do like the kind of spend-up pivots at the position. I think Vlad Guerrero is a really strong option tonight. He grades out really well in our projections. Detmers has shown better stuff in the second half, but didn't look quite as sharp in his last outing. So Guerrero, Jose Abreu, if you want to feel the White Sox pain along with Cheese tonight, you can play him. Pete Alonso, these are guys not going to be super chalky tonight, but definitely high upside. If you're not on Bailey Falter, you can play Chavis as a punt. Josh Bell, I think, is an interesting tournament option as well against Bubic for the Royals. So as usual, a pretty deep position, and you can get guys at various price ranges here.
Okay, Cheese.
Yeah, similar group. Hoskins is the chalk. I prefer Alonso straight up. And if you have a little money, I prefer Vlad. On DK, I do like Ohtani. Again, I'm playing a lot of cheap pitching, so I can spend up to some of these guys that don't really fit in a lot of builds. Luke Voit will be kind of popular on DraftKings. I say kind of popular, like 10% owned, but he's facing Mike Minor, and I would play myself against Mike Minor at this point. The cheap stuff at first base is not as interesting to me as the cheap stuff elsewhere. So even where I'm spending a pitcher, I'm mostly spending up to those first basemen.
Okay. Real quick, I do want to give an update on weather. I had someone ask about the wind in Toronto. The roof is open in Toronto. Winds are blowing in, and it's pretty windy, 15 to 20 miles per hour blowing in. The issue is I don't know how those winds translate down to the field. They could swirl, they could move out. I don't have data on any of the closed places that open, any of the retractable roofs. So in theory, it would be better for pitchers than hitters, but in reality, I don't know the answer. So just a heads up on those winds. Okay, Cheese, take me to second base.
So second is a place that's interesting to save money. On FanDuel, we're going to have Brandon Lau chalk because he's 2,400. It's not really a spectacular spot for Lau. It's just he's 2,400, and seems like every day there's some second baseman who's $2,400. It's either Muncy, Semien, or Lau, and today it's Lau, so he's chalk. I kind of like Altuve and Semien as spend ups, and then on the DK side, you can do Romy Gonzalez for 2K. If you need the punt, Christian Arroyo at 25. which all kind of makes this a place to spend down for me. I have no issue with Altuve, Semien, and Lau, and even Cronenworth kind of as a sneaky lefty. But this is a safe position for me.
Okay, Card second.
Yeah, I agree on the save position. It's just not that exciting, I think, to where you have to roster one of the higher end guys. Not enough of a difference in projections to justify this being a spend up spot, unless it's part of your stack, or you're going with the super cheap pitching build. Like Drury, I think is fine if you're looking to spend up, but save position for me as well. Lau on FanDuel, Romy Gonzalez at the minimum salary leading off for the White Sox. Those guys are fine. McNeil is fine. A position where I think you save a little money so that you can spend either at pitcher or at third, perhaps, or in the outfield.
Let's talk about third and what you want to spend up on, Cards.
Yeah, Machado is probably the obvious play here. Bregman has been hitting better even against righties of late, but still not, his usual numbers for the year. And again, I mentioned I'm not as high on Houston tonight, so it's Machado for me over Bregman at the top. Not a whole lot of difference in projections for them, but I think Machado is the top option. Austin Riley as well, I think solid as a spend in GPPs with the Braves facing a lefty tonight. Montana didn't look super sharp his last time out. I mentioned Drury already. Matt Chapman, if you're home run hunting in the mid-range, I think is fine. Same with Donaldson if he's in the Yankees lineup tonight. You can go cheap here. Brett Baty is 2,400 for the Mets, but he's hitting 8th tonight. Rivera is hitting 2nd for Arizona, but Cueto's been pretty good for the White Sox. So that's why generally I prefer to save at 2nd, spend at 3rd, and it would be Machado as my number 1 play, and my favorite pivot in tournaments would be Riley.
Okay. Cheese, third base.
Very similar, other than I like Jose Ramirez over Machado as a spend up guy, but I like them both. And then I also like Austin Riley a lot. Alec Boehm might end up not being that popular because of how many Phillies are kind of ahead of him now, especially now that Harper's back. I think people go Schwarber, Harper, Real Muto, Hoskins. So I do want to get Boehm in Philly stacks if you're going that way. Otherwise, everyone Cards mentioned is same for me.
Okay, shortstop.
Lindor is the only guy that I feel great about spending up for. But the whole rest of the group is pretty good. And like they're wonderful in stacks and even like kind of okay on their own. Talking about like Bogarts, Correa, Bichette, Seager, Witt, and Swanson. So it's a lot of names, but they're all kind of jumbled together for me. And I just have Lindor out in front of them by enough that he's my go-to. You can punt it, mostly on the DK side. You don't really need to on FanDuel, where like Bichette's only 2,800. So I don't think you go below that. Maybe you need like a Taylor Walls or a Brandon Crawford or something on DK, but I'd rather try to get up to like, I would say at least Jeremy Pena at 38.
Okay, Card short.
I also forgot to mention, backtracking to second for a second, Michael Massey for the Royals is hitting cleanup tonight. Not that you love targeting hitters against Musgrove, but he's basically min salary, more of a need on DraftKings with the salary, but he'd be another option for the save at second. I like him as a tournament play tonight. Seeing Witt at short reminded me of that. So Witt, Massey, you can play the catchers. I wouldn't go nuts with Kansas City stacks tonight against Musgrove, but don't mind playing maybe one of those guys individually in a lineup. Otherwise, I agree at short, not as deep as we're used to seeing, not ideal matchups for a lot of these guys. Lindor, clearly the top play. I don't have a whole lot else to add. Luis Garcia batting second for Washington. Another one of those that you could use as a punt at 2,200 on FanDuel.
Okay, outfield.
All right, loaded as usual. The Phillies guys are the obvious plays. I think Schwarber will be the most popular, particularly because on FanDuel he's cheaper than Harper, and Harper just coming back from injury. I think I like Harper just a little better in tournaments. I think the ownership gap will be slightly wider than what we have it projected, but Schwarber is obviously the play that everybody will be looking to in cash games. I think you probably got to play on, especially on FanDuel, one of the Mets guys. Nimmo's 2,700, Naquin's 2,100. So those guys are just a little bit too cheap. Otherwise, Lane Thomas will kind of be the other chalk value. I think you're going to see a lot of stars and scrubs outfield builds tonight with Harper and Schwarber and Alvarez and maybe Trout, Ohtani at the top, and then those punt guys that I just mentioned. Almost everything else is going to be owned in the single digits outside of those guys. So you've got the White Sox guys are all fairly affordable. You got Pollock hitting 5th tonight against a lefty, Andrew Vaughn hitting 2nd. Again, if you want some of that White Sox pain, I think those guys are fine. Eloy is back, is in the lineup. So all those White Sox guys are pretty affordable. I like the Blue Jays power bats. We talked about Guerrero at first. Teoscar Hernandez is certainly fine. That's most of the guys that I have at outfield. So I'll let Cheese chime in.
Cheese, you like that idea of maybe a little mid-range to get away from the chalk pay?
Yeah, Cards covered it really well. On DK, for sure, it's going to be very stars and scrubs. Like, that's such an easy build to go your 2 favorite out of those, Schwarber, Harper, or maybe one of the other expensive guys with Lane Thomas or whichever cheap guy you like. Like, that's such an easy build, and I think that's the go-to. So, yeah, if you go 3 mid-tier outfielders, you're different, and you still have upside. Like, it's a huge slate. As far as the high-end guys, as much as I do like the Phillies, like it's going to be a little too skewed. So I'm going to say Ohtani and Trout I prefer over Schwarber and Harper. Don't forget about Aaron Judge. Nobody should ever forget about Aaron Judge. He's hard to forget about. He's a very large person. But he's just like, he's so weirdly priced. You should always play a little of him. I don't really have any specific names to add. I mean, that's the guys Cards mentioned is basically who I'm looking at.
My life goal now is to get a picture with Aaron Judge just to see how ridiculously short I look.
That would be glorious. It would be, well, just paste your face on that one with him next to Altuve and be like, that's us.
Good stuff. All right.
That's about will be for the same height.
Let's do a stack for all the marbles. Cards, what's your favorite stack if you're playing one on a single entry?
I like going a little off the board with that. So Philly is out because they're a little too chalky. San Diego is out because they're a little too chalky. Give me Toronto. I think their power bets could be difference makers tonight.
Okay, Cheese.
Yeah, the semi chalky answer would be Mets for me. The way off the board random team for me would be the Cubs.
Excellent.
Oh, I thought he was going to say the White Sox.
I kind of thought it was coming too.
Yeah.
But you can't do it to the people.
Well, they're not even going to be that sneaky. That's the thing. They're terrible, and we all just keep playing them.
Yeah. Oof, that's tough. That's tough stuff. Okay, let's take some of these QQs. We've got about 6 minutes until lock. So scrolling up just a wee bit to Achilles' question. It is DK Cash. Cheese, do you prefer Kirk and Baum or Darno and Riley?
Kirk and Baum.
Okay. Rangers fan says Cards, DK Cash, Harper Wilson or Cheese versus Minor?
I mean, I said I would play myself against Minor.
That was when Cheese was mentioning he'd play himself against Minor.
Maybe he's talking. I was talking about Luke Voigt when I said that. I don't know if that's what he means, though.
Otherwise, I can't follow the question.
Yeah. Basically, we take Cheese is the answer. We vote Cheese versus Minor. DK single entry Cards. If you're paying for Steele and Cavalli, who is the stack? Thanks, at Kevin Roth. You're welcome.
Well, Steele and Cavalli, that's cheap. So you're going to have the money to spend on offense. So, maybe you get the Toronto power guys and the Mets power guys in there. I think you go for the upside power bats that are expensive.
Okay. The narrative is that Cheese is a lefty masher, by the way. Just
true. I do exist. Confirmed.
Let's see. DK Cash, Cheese, J-Ram or Riley? I felt like you said J-Ram was maybe your boy, but this is Cash, so that's different.
Yeah, I mean, they're both pretty great play. I would go J-Ram personally.
Okay. FanDuel Cash, Cards, Pollock, Nimmo or Teoscar Hernandez and Naquin?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd lean towards the first one, but that's not a strong preference. I think you're okay with either.
Okay. Aside FanDuel cash question for you, Cheese. It's a 2v2 Hayes and Naquin versus Romy and Donaldson revenge narrative.
Interesting. I don't think he's upset to not be in Oakland. Hayes Naquin.
Okay. All right. DKGPP cards. This is a question for you here. At second base, your favorite at 4,500 or less in a DKGPP. Confused as to why optos love Lau when Waka is holding lefties to a bunch of numbers that don't look very good, and a bunch of other numbers that seem like lefties aren't doing good. I was looking at McNeil or Cronenworth, but I'm definitely open to other suggestions.
Yeah,
so 4,500 or less.
My suggestion is you take a cheap guy there. You get to like a Massey or some upgrade someone else. I don't love spending at second tonight. If you do, I think you get all the way up to Altuve, but it's a safe position for me, and that's why the Opto is acting a little weird there. Not a lot of good options in that price range you mentioned, so I think you rework it a little bit.
Okay, all right. Cheese, if I'm playing DK Cash, would you be okay with Cade and Steele?
I mean, as much as I like Cade, I think that's pretty shaky in cash. I wouldn't personally do that.
Bold. All right. DK Cash cards 3v3 coming your way. Steele and R. Gonzalez. Sorry, 3v3. Steele, R. Gonzalez, and E. Rivera, or Cavalli, Arroyo, and Bregman.
I'd go with the first one. But again, that's biased a little because I'm not huge on Houston tonight.
Okay. Achilles, DK Cash, Cheese, Darno, and J Ram, or Kirk and Bohm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Probably Kirk and Bohm.
Okay. Sherman's Tanks, FanDuel Cash cards, Romy Gonzalez and Nimmo, or Low/Lau, I don't know which one, and Lane Thomas.
I'd go with Lau and Lane Thomas.
Great. DKGPP, Cheese, Jay's Mets stack, which sounds amazing and maybe chalky. Kirk, Vlad, Naquin, or Alonso, Springer, McCann.
Oof. Okay. The way I would answer that is I wouldn't want to skip Alonso, even though I like the first three better. Like, I know that's a weird answer. Like Kurt Vlad Naquin sounds better, but building a Met stack without Alonso sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So I guess the Alonso side.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Cowboys fan says FanDuel Cash last piece, Gonzalez or Naquin?
I'd probably go Naquin. I mean, I like Gonzalez fine, but I'd probably go Naquin there.
Okay, Raymond, FanDuel GPP at second. Cheese, Altuve, Drury, or Simeon. I'm stuck. Help me out.
I would go Altuve.
Yeah.
I like Drury a lot, but yeah, go Altuve.
Yeah. FanDuel Cash from Cowboys fan, Bowman, Eloy cards, or Hayes and Harper?
I'd go Hayes, Harper, and Cash.
Okay. Yay or nay, Cheese, on an Angel stack in FanDuel single entry?
I don't think you need to get to a full stack in single entry. I would just stick to Ohtani and Trout. Yeah.
Okay. All right. FanDuel single entry cards, Cavalli, Trout, or Fallner and Judge?
Cavalli, Trout.
Amateur hour. All right. 3v3, DKGPP. Cheese, help me out. Stott, Vargas, McNeil versus Baez, Bohm, Massey.
Baez, Bohm, Massey.
Excellent. Matt Hack says I'm got 35% steal, team steal. You like
I'm
it?
okay with that. We both like Steele, so we're on board.
Yep.
All right, excellent. Jumping on over to.
Congrats on all the winning.
We
Hope you
shall
don't have
see.
White Sox stacks.
Yeah, I was gonna say your White Sox are tank cheese Steele lineup, so you can win with something else.
Okay. Let's see. FanDuel Cash last piece cards, Gonzalez or Naquin?
Naquin. Somebody asked that already.
Okay. FanDuel Cash, Cheese, Bassett, or Beebs, or Strider?
For me, it would be Bassett and Cash.
Hey, we've hit the lock Our friend Cleveland Picker in the YouTube chat, who, by the way, you got to join the RG Discord, says he's got a YouTube channel and he's going to make some picking YouTube videos. Picking, if you don't know. Geez, you know what picking is.
Most people mean guitar playing when they say that.
So I
mean,
know
it could be
most.
like apples and stuff too, though.
Your people of your ilk mean picking an instrument or a guitar. People in an orchard mean picking fruits.
And there's the new craze, which is like picking garbage and stuff out of, you know, that my father always talks about how he watches American Pickers all the time. And
This
they're
is
like,
news to me. I really thought you were going to say this is a guitar player we're talking about.
They get stuff out of, you know, they get stuff and turn rags into riches with some of these old things and collectibles and things of that nature. And
like going through the neighborhood, looking at trash, or like,
no.
What are we talking about here?
No. So you go to garage sales or you go to estate sales or you buy like old
so not literal
units.
Trash.
No, it can be, but not.
That's what my dad does. He gets stuff out of people's trash and tries to be.
I would watch that YouTube channel. Carv's dad digging through the trash.
People like coming out of it with guns in Texas, at least. You can't be doing that.
No, not here.
Yeah. So anyways, he is going to start a YouTube channel. So when he does, please drop that in the Discord.
I was only aware of guitar playing and apple picking. So now I
am very proud that I knew what that was. I feel so cultured this evening.
Good job, guys. Yes, it's fascinating to watch. You see these people buy what someone is selling. They think it's junk for $2. It turns out it's for $500 or whatever. You buy it, flip it. It's fun.
It really pisses off the first person.
Yeah,
when they watch the show.
Yeah, they see that YouTube video like, God.
It's got to be so much harder to do. Like that used to be a thing that anyone could do, and now like it seems like it would be really rare because everyone looks up everything before they sell something. It seems like everyone that I know about. But
yeah, well, I don't think rich people do. I think rich people are just like, the rich people might not even sell it. I don't know.
Yeah, but they also don't really bother having garage sales.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. You're probably right about that. Okay, hey, with that, we're going to get on out of here. Sorry about the late start to the show. We were delayed via toddler, but we got everything in. So all is good and the best in the biz. We got cheese, we got cards. Appreciate you very much. Everybody at home, we appreciate you. We love you. Our wonderful production crew as well. Thanks for tuning in. You have been crunched.